Welcome in to the Fantasy Football Playmakers live start sit show Sunday morning. Ryan, a little earlier, 6 minutes. We got a football game at 9:30, Ryan, and my voice is going to crack. Sorry, folks, my voice. I'm losing my voice. What is up, Ryan? How's it going?
Not too bad, man. I was up late last night watching that Wilder Fury fight. I don't know if I know you said that you didn't watch it because you were at a wedding, but that fight was amazing. I usually don't really get into boxing all that much, but my fiance had fallen asleep and I was kind of not really into the movie that we were watching, so I turned that off and turned that back on or turned that on, and I'm glad I did, man. It was a fantastic fight, but so now I'm a little bit tired, but ready to talk about week 5 and sitting here got my other screen set up here watching the Jets Falcons get ready to go. So just excited to get things going. Early morning, 9:30 start. So it's nice having football literally all day today and not have to wait until 1.
Yeah, that's always a plus. Sometimes, however, when you have to set lineups and you have a wedding on Saturday and you fail to submit some, kind of in a little bit of a struggle here. But
you know what? That's actually true. I don't think I actually went through and set any of my lineups. I probably should have did that instead of while I was watching the Wilder fight.
Probably should have. For example, I didn't realize how many Jamison Crowder shares I had till this morning. It's pretty pretty enlightening to find that out. But we will, as usual, we're gonna have Austin here at about 10 o'clock. So he'll kind of have to go over the game with us too. We're gonna kind of go through the game as well as we watch along.
Yep.
So, oof, man, my voice is really killing me. Ryan, you're gonna have to carry this one.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be a little distracted. I gotta go through and make sure I don't have anything that I wanted to change for today.
You're killing me.
For the 9:30. It's early, man.
Who do you think? What do we got? Who do you think wins this game? 9:30, real quick.
I think I'm going to go with the upset and take the Jets, to be honest with you.
Really? Why?
Yeah, Falcons are down quite a few guys. Jets defense actually isn't that bad. Like, they actually haven't played terrible. They're just not a good offensive team, so their defense has been on the field a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And these games are traditionally very underwhelming in terms of offensive production.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a lower scoring game, but with Jamison Crowder back, the Jets actually have a relatively solid group of playmakers now as well. So I'm gonna take the upset and take the Jets.
Really? I think I agree. I don't know why it's an upset, to be honest. I feel like with the Falcons missing Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, etc., how is the Jets really an upset? You know what I mean? I know the spread's pretty close.
3.5.
Yeah, but it just seems like this shouldn't really be an upset. I don't think I'd be that surprised if they beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem crazy to me that they would lose this game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm seeing right now they're going through the predictions right now with Michael Irvin and Willie McGinnis and all those guys, and all 3 of them have picked the Jets so far.
Yeah, so
all close, but
it's as you said, it's technically a upset, but I don't think that it's not that shocking to me if the Jets win this game.
No.
They're both bad teams, so I'm not surprised by it at all.
So I got my own personal start sit question for you to start the show.
All right, we got one more too in the chat, but go ahead.
Would you start if you had to choose one? Would you choose Corey Davis or Jamison Crowder for this game in PPR?
Probably Corey Davis. I think the upside's better there. I know that Crowder's probably going to maybe see equal target share, but I like Corey Davis's deep threat. I think that the secondary, I'm probably leaning Corey Davis. It's really close. but I'd probably lean Corey Davis because if Elijah Moore gets anything, he's gonna be taking from Crowder more. I feel like, personally.
So. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. That's where I ended up plugging him in at. Oh no, bad news. Anyways, we do have a question. Deontay or Amari Cooper in full PPR? Ooh. For me, that's Amari Cooper. I know he's been on the injury report, but I just don't like the Steelers' offense right now, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that offense in general. And Pittsburgh, they're at home, but they're playing Denver. The over-under is super low for that game. It's only at like 40.5 or something like that. So I think I'm going to go with Cooper. I think Cooper has more upside. Although Deontay is probably going to get peppered with targets, I do like the upside of Deontay. I just don't like that offense right now. I feel like Amari's in a much safer, much more high-powered offense, so that's who I would go with.
I'm going to take Deontay. I'm going to be a little different than you here. I think just by the offense that is in Pittsburgh, they're playing Denver. They're not going to have time to throw the ball. Ben Roethlisberger's going to have to dump it off to Deontay. And we've seen it. He's a PPR machine. And Amari Cooper's questionable. I know he's supposed to play, but with that injury, we've seen other receivers who have injuries leading into games just kind of get not used as much, especially when you have a CeeDee Lamb or Dalton Schultz on the other sides.
Yeah.
So I could see Cooper being a little bit limited with his injury. So I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson there personally. I just think the upside's a little higher on that side.
That's fair.
But I agree. I see what you're saying. The higher offense, especially playing the Jets, like Dallas has a good. I wouldn't hate it if you started Amari Cooper, but I just believe that I think that side of the ball, the Deontay should see a lot more target share than Amari Cooper will, just based on it's going to be him and Najee Harris. Like, I mean, that's all it's going to see the ball because Ben Roethlisberger basically that's all he throws it to. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Any other last minute questions for yourself, Ryan?
I'm like scrambling here. I just realized that I had George Kittle in my lineup for an 18-team league, and my only backup tight end is Adam Troutman.
Ooh,
and
nice.
This league, oddly enough, doesn't allow free pickups after the game start. Like everything's waivers on Monday. So I have to start Adam Troutman.
That sounds like fun though.
And I'm no. I mean, I'm gonna root for him. I always kind of root for him because he's one of my guys for the beginning of the year. But I'm not excited. I'm not excited to have him in my lineup like I was hoping I would be at this point at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Adam Troutman's definitely a bummer. If you can, I'm going to use that word. Sounds like a 5-year-old, but it's really a bummer. I think he's one of those pure, like, okay, you're really good at blocking, so we thought he's going to be on the field and see all these opportunities, but it's like he's so much on the field that he basically is used as a blocker. He doesn't see those receiving options.
Right. Yeah, he's almost too good at blocking that they have to use him in that aspect. I actually do have another one for you. Would you start Miles Sanders this week over a guy like Javonte or Rondale Moore in PPR going against Carolina?
Who?
Miles Sanders.
Sorry, I was watching the national anthem.
Over a high upside ceiling guy like Rondale Moore or Javonte Williams?
I'm not starting Javonte Williams against Pittsburgh right now. And Rondell Moore, I don't tango with Rondell Moore right now.
No,
The talent's there, but I just don't trust it. There's too many good weapons there.
I'm just not a fan of Miles Sanders right now. The way they're using Kenny Gainwell in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, and I can see that because they
It's a
have
little
been.
concerning.
It seems like they want Gainwell to be the guy.
Oh, it definitely seems that way.
Like, it's weird though. Like, I don't get why they won't use Sanders. I mean, yeah, he doesn't have the best pass catching ability, but like, he's a game breaker. Like, why not give him the ball?
I can't, I couldn't tell you, man. I really can't tell you. I mean,
It just
but
seems weird.
Kenny Gainwell is good. It's not like he's bad, and we're just like, why? It's not like it's not like the Miami Dolphins situation where you got a guy like Myles Gaskin and then Malcolm Brown's just for some reason getting a bunch of carries.
What's wrong with Malcolm Brown?
Never been a big Malcolm Brown fan. Kenny Gainwell is better than Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, no, I don't like Malcolm Brown either. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Hey.
He's a really good blocker. That's all that matters, you know?
Apparently that's all. Yeah, apparently that is all that matters is that they, if they block, they get carries, and if you're blocking tight end, you don't get targets.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
So did you say you're going with the Jets here too as well?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
I'm actually kind of surprised at how well received these London games are. Like those guys seem like they're pretty invested into American football over there.
Yeah, I feel like the NFL is pretty polarizing. I mean, it's not as crazy as soccer. Like, if soccer's like worldwide, but like a lot of people like the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, soccer is kind of different because you have like legit country teams where you're playing for your country. So every country gets invested because they each have their own team. But
yeah,
in the USA, just hasn't traditionally been very good at soccer. So,
facts. All right, we got another question. Full PPR flex, CEH, Marvin Jones, or Damian Williams?
ooh. See, I feel like we're going to get a lot of Damian Williams questions this week. And I'm not sure how I feel about him.
Yeah, I mean, I like Damian Williams. I think he's a RB2 start. I think he gets up there just on pure volume based. We've seen what David Montgomery's done. Now, David Montgomery is a little bit better talent wise, in my opinion, but Damian Williams is very much a viable running back in the NFL, and he's going to see most of the work. There's not much behind him. So I believe that Damian Williams is a good running back, 2-ish flex type start. CEH, I'm out on this week. He might make me bite my tongue, but the Bills have been really good against running backs. So I am going to expect that to continue, and I expect that game to be kind of a shootout. I know it's supposed to rain, but I think that both teams kind of drop back and try and throw a little bit more. Marvin Jones is interesting to me here because Tennessee is playing, or Jacksonville's playing Tennessee, I believe, right?
Yep.
So one of the worst teams against wide receivers. The question is if we can trust Trevor Lawrence to kind of make that happen. We're not really sure what this team's going to – I mean, we kind of do. We saw mostly the full game without DJ Chark last week.
Yep.
And it kind of seemed like they were really trying to get the ball to Laviska Shenault. So that kind of worries me a little bit with Jones. So I'm probably starting Damian Williams on a safe play. I feel like he has just as much upside as Marvin Jones to an extent because he should see maybe possibility of some touchdowns. So I'll take Damian Williams with the fair rushing floor, where Marvin Jones, we could see what he had last week, which was like, 5 or 6 points PPR leagues. So he has the higher upside. So if you really want to shoot upside in your flex spot, Marvin Jones is the one. He definitely has the most upside of all three of these guys, but Damian Williams seems the safest to me. I think he's going to give us like RB2 numbers this week. So
why am I not seeing? Oh, they're playing the Raiders. Having a hard time finding who they're playing.
They're stretching the field with Hayden Hurst. Oof. Hate to see that. Right?
I think my stream might be lagging a little bit right now, but
they probably are. I had this problem when we did a live draft show earlier this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they they are
Mike
they're
Davis
behind for some reason.
Anyway, I didn't answer that question. I'm probably going to go with Damian Williams as well. Although Marvin Jones is probably a close second for me just because of that Tennessee defense. But until I see Trevor Lawrence get a little bit more consistent, I can't really trust that offense entirely. I think Chanel probably has the safest floor of that group. And like you said, CH in a tough matchup with Buffalo, going to be a lot of throwing in that game. That's how they attacked Buffalo's defense last year in the AFC Championship game, was attacking the passing game. So I'm going to go with Damian Williams as well. But Khalil Herbert, who they loved in camp, is a little intriguing for me. I feel like he might get a little bit of run, a little bit more run than we think. But Damian Williams has been effective. I think he's averaged like almost 5 yards per carry in the small sample size that he's gotten this year. So if he's able to get at least relatively close to what Montgomery gets in terms of workload, he's definitely the start for me. And are those three guys?
Yeah, I think Williams is safest. I don't like CEH based on the fact that they're playing the Bills, and then Marvin Jones has the highest upside. So
he said
Michael, whichever way you're going.
CH said back-to-back solid games though.
Yeah, but it's not the Bills.
No,
the Bills haven't. I mean, aside from Antonio Gibson's 175-yard pass catch, the Bills have had 0 effective running backs, and that's the only touchdown to a running back yet this season. So I don't expect CEH to do much. So
no, that's fair.
That's my personal opinion, and that's not even being a Bills homer. I just really don't think. I think the Bills defense is going to be one of the toughest against running backs this season, which is strange seeing as and they were so bad before. So
oh yeah, they were bad last year. It's what their weakest against last year.
Pass. Oh my God, they're throwing to Lee Smith. Oh God, we've made it this far. This is going to be bad.
I'm trying to see where exactly my stream is at right now, to be honest with you. They just had a roughing the passer call. On my stream, they just had a roughing the passer call on Matt Ryan, so I don't know where you're at on that. But
it's 4th and 1 for me.
Oh, God, so I'm far behind. Still 1st and 10 for Atlanta.
Oh, they're going for it. And they hand it to Cordero Patterson, who, oh my God.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a spoiler. Sorry. I won't tell you what happened, but they hand it to Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, you're ahead of me, so you can go ahead and talk about it. I'm just kind of watching what I can get.
I feel like where did Cordell Patterson? Like, he's always been a talented guy. Like, have people been just misusing him? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? Like, how is it that all of a sudden, like, he played a hybrid running back in Chicago, and I mean, he saw some decent touches, but like he's literally a running back right now. Can he?
Well, the thing is like, my thing with him is that can he keep up doing what he's doing on such a limited snap share? I don't think he's had like over a 40% snap share at all this year, but he's like the RB 1 or 2 or something like that.
Well, he's scoring touchdowns. He's really touchdown dependent, and people are negating to notice that. Really, kind of. I feel like unless people are, and they just aren't talking about it. But he has like half their touchdowns.
Yeah, but you would think with how he is scoring touchdowns, they would increase his snap share, but they're just kind of keeping it where it's at. You know what I mean? Like, it's not anything crazy, isn't you think his snap share would increase from week to week, but he stayed relatively consistent in terms of that.
Well, when you have a guy like your first, you know what I mean? You have Kelvin Ridley out there. They're running with Kyle Pitts. They're running. I think it's just that they don't have that many people. They want to use Mike Davis. They like him. You know what I mean? And his position, he's not playing wide receiver. He's really a running back, you know? So he's splitting with Mike Davis. That's why it's only at 40%.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's being effective with it. So I get you want to put him more on the field because he is being effective, but I think they don't want to overuse him either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you're game planning more for Mike Davis and all of a sudden you get Cordero Patterson out there, maybe that's Arthur Smith's plan. I don't really know. Because I agree. You would think that they'd want to put him in a lot more just because of how effective he's been.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you'll see his snap share go up a lot this week.
Oh, yeah. He's already been on the field quite a bit since I've been watching. I know my stream's a little bit behind, but I just saw that run from him. That stutter step was beautiful. That little hesitation move that I just saw that 4th and 1, and that little hesitation stutter step that he used it and then attacked the hole.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it that he's just like been misused? You know, like I just feel like how is he this good all of a sudden? Like, I don't know.
At 30 years old.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, did he get better, or is it just purely because he's scoring so many touchdowns that we're noticing him because he's so high? Because other players aren't necessarily performing. Like, your top guys are kind of a little bit out this season. Like, they're not performing as well early on. And so, like, this guy shows up. He's got 5 touchdowns this year. Well, obviously, he's going to be a top guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but is this like do you guys really get better from at age 30? Like, I guess that's like my biggest question. Like, has he just always been this good and it's just been his offenses that he's been in, or is it just a scheme fit with Arthur Smith?
But he's not doing anything crazy. You know, I mean, maybe a blocking scheme's a little bit different, but I don't think it's like, oh wow, Arthur Smith's scheming him to get open. You know, he's basically running just like wheel routes and like handoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he's like this crazy guy, like some crazy scheme where it's like, oh wow, he's getting open so much better.
Right.
I mean, definitely you could argue that it's probably better than Matt Nagy, who refuses to roll out Justin Fields. So
yeah, I'm curious to see how that works out this week too. I'm curious to see if they start giving him more now that they've fully. Do you think that was a Nagy call, or do you think that came from upstairs where they committed to him going forward?
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
I don't think Nagy made that choice. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe he realized, oh wow, actually he's not terrible. I don't know. I think that they have to go to him. Like, how can you not, with the basis of how good he did look? And Andy Dalton's just kind of been eh. And you went up, you traded, you got this guy, and the front end personnel obviously has some say. And I think they're just like, all right, he looks good enough, start him. And Matt Nagy's basically on the hot seat, so
yeah, but I mean, it's not like Justin Fields has lit the world on fire so far. I mean, he's only got if he's over 300 yards total for the year, he's right at 300 yards. So I mean, it's not like he's been even last week when he was supposed to have a relatively solid matchup against Detroit. They only threw the ball 17 times and 200 yards and a touchdown, or 200 yards and a pick, no touchdowns. So it's just kind of maybe they just agreed that he offers the offense more upside as opposed to Andy Dalton.
Well, he does. I mean, the rushing floor. I don't know.
Or
I try not to speculate. I try not to speculate what Matt Nagy's thinking because I'll just be wrong.
That's fair.
Because it doesn't. Anything that makes sense to us or anybody else in the NFL doesn't make sense to Matt Nagy. So I'm just kind of.
That's true. Which is
brilliant. Yep. Yeah. Okay, Mike Davis. Yeah, you're just not good. Okay. So I have one for us, which is start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. J-Rob versus Tennessee. Javonte Williams, which is versus Pitt. Chuba Hubbard versus Philadelphia. Which of the 2 are you starting, Ryan? The running backs.
Who was it? J-Rob and who?
J-Rob, Javonte, and Chuba Hubbard.
I
need
probably going Chuba and J-Rob there. I think J-Rob's obviously got a very nice matchup. He's seen the volume the last couple weeks. And then Chuba has probably a safer floor. I would say, as opposed to Javonte going against the Steelers defense and splitting time with Melvin Gordon. Rodney Smith came in and had like 5 catches on 5 targets, so I wonder if they get him more involved in the passing game. I don't know if they just didn't trust him, if that's just how it worked out. But so he might cap Chuba's upside in PPR, but I'd still start him over Javonte because I feel like he's just going to get more overall work and he's in a much better matchup.
I agree. I'm going J-Rob and Chuba too. Javonte splitting carries right now kind of makes him. I've started him every week and kind of regret it every week. I think this is finally week 5 where I realized that his upside is just really capped, which I knew coming into the season. Just because Melvin Gordon's still good. Like, Melvin Gordon's not a bum. It's not like a – and they're both playing well. So, for me right now, especially playing Pittsburgh, I'll take Chuba on a bigger workload against probably an easier defense in Philadelphia. Probably maybe a little bit more high scoring.
Yeah.
And then 2 wide receivers. So, keep Javonte in your mind for the flex spot. But 2 wide receivers would be D-Hop, Chase, Higgins, or Devontae Smith.
Starting D-Hop and Chase. And then who is it? Higgins and what?
Higgins and Devontae Smith.
Ooh, I like both of them this week. But if I'm already starting Chase, I'm probably going to start Devontae Smith over T. Higgins. It's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if they have – I don't know if they'll have enough volume throwing to support 2 high-end wide receivers this week. I do like Burrow in this matchup, but I think I'd go with Devontae, who I also like this week. So if I'm already starting Chase, who I think is a must-start this week, I think I'm going to go with Devonta Smith over T. Higgins.
Are you worried at all about DeAndre Hopkins?
No,
I mean, he's had 2 kind of down weeks.
He always does that though. Every year he does that. I mean, it's not anything out of the ordinary for him to do this. Even last year, the offense is just too good. He's too involved. I mean, he's only seen one game where he saw less than 6 targets, and that was in week 2, and he had a touchdown in that game. But I mean, even looking back to last year, he did go through a little stretch where he would get you single-digit PPR points, but like last year, weeks 11 and 12, he only had 10 PPR points. So I mean, it's not uncommon to see him go through stretches, but then he also puts up games where he's got 14 catches for 150 yards. So if he's just too good. If you got him, you got to start him. I kind of just deal with him. I kind of start him knowing that is a possibility that he doesn't give me those wide receiver 1 weeks, but the upside is just too high. If you don't start him and he goes off one of those crazy games, and you're like, oh my God, why would I not start him? So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with him. He's just too good, and the offense is too good, too high powered. He's gonna get rolling. I'm not concerned him with that at all.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I'd probably go D-Hop, Chase, and Devontae Smith too. T. Higgins, I think, could have a decent game, but you're going to try and reach for that upside playing opposite. You know what I mean? I don't want to see Chase and Higgins in my lineup unless I have to. And I feel like here Devontae Smith's a good enough flex outside of T. Higgins. So J-Rob, Chuba, D-Hop, Chase, and Devontae Smith for us. And another question. So we got Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Zach Moss, James Conner, or Chuba Hubbard at running back, pick 2 PPR.
I don't like the fact that they've already come out and said Joe Mixon is not going to be 100%. He's going to play, but he's not going to be at full strength, and that is never really a good sign, saying that somebody's not 100%. They're just going to play at some some capacities. I think what Zach Taylor said was that he was going to play at some capacity. So if that injury starts to flare up even a little bit, he's gonna be sat for the rest of the game. So I'm not sure I'm gonna start him, even though the workload is typically there for him. I'm not gonna take that risk of him getting hurt on the first play of the game and then getting a dud for my my running back 1 or 2 spot. We talked before the show, Jeremy. I really like Zach Moss against Kansas City. Kansas City's been so bad against running backs, and I know that it's going to be a higher scoring game. I think it's got the highest over/under of the week. But Buffalo might use a different tactic and try to use their running backs a little bit more in this one to try to keep that offense off the field and throw if they need to. I feel like they know that they can throw against Kansas City, but I also feel like they want to try to keep that offense off the field as much as possible. So, and Zach Moss has been seeing all the goal line work for the most part. I don't think Singletary even has one of those goal line carries yet this year when Zach Moss has been active. So I think I'm going to go with Zach Moss there, and I think I'm going to go with the volume play with Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I'm gonna go Zach Moss and Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I feel like I'm out on Joe Mixon for sure. The injury, yeah, he's playing, but he's gonna be somewhatly kind of limited, is my guess. So you're not gonna see a ton of them. I'm not really starting Chuba Hubbard unless I have to. And in this situation, I feel like I don't have to, so I'm probably gonna sit him. Like I even like James Conner over Chuba Hubbard just on the basis of like Conner's the touchdown guy, and Arizona's going to move the ball, and they're not going to score every single time on a big play. So I like James Conner as a play. See, I'm going to lean, probably going to lean. I hate to agree with you, but I'm going to I'd probably go Jacobs and Zach Moss. I like James Conner, but he really is just touchdown dependent. Where Zach Moss at least sees some run outside of the touchdowns. He's a very good pass blocker, so he does get involved in the passing game too. So if it's PPR, he's going to see a little bit of that. So I'll take Jacobs and Zach Moss as well. It's really close for me with Zach Moss and James Conner, though, just because of the touchdown upside is way higher with Conner, just because I think Arizona moves the ball, even though it's San Francisco. I think Arizona's going to be moving that ball pretty easily against them, and I think Conner could see possibly 1, maybe 2 touchdowns again like he has this year. In a single game. Different league. Who do I start for wide receiver? Pick 1 PPR. Michael Pittman, Allen Robinson, or Cole Beasley. Probably out on Pittman against Baltimore. He's their clear number 1. And Baltimore should be able to lock down Michael Pittman. However, the other 2 are interesting. I feel like on a normal basis, we'd be screaming this is Allen Robinson, and it'd be really easy. But in PPR, Cole Beasley, last week he kind of did a down week, but we've seen him see 13, 14 targets in a single game, and playing the Chiefs could easily be one of those scenarios. So who do you think has more upside, Ryan? If you had to pick Allen Robinson or Cole Beasley right now in this game matchups? So you got Robinson versus the Raiders, right? I believe that's what they're playing. And then Cole Beasley versus the Chiefs. I want to say it's Cole, but like the Raiders are pretty beat up at corner too at the moment.
Yeah.
So
the thing is like it was a little bit concerning seeing going against Detroit last week, Allen Robinson only getting a 69% snap share and only 3 targets. We felt like that was kind of like a get right game for him, and it didn't really materialize. But Cole Beasley was another guy that we liked last week, and he only saw 2 targets in a game that, I mean, Buffalo absolutely dominated Houston. So, I mean, we shouldn't really be that surprised. But if we're expecting as big of a shootout as we're expecting, I feel like I want as many parts of that game as possible. So as weird as it is to say, I'd probably go Cole Beasley here. I feel like he's just going to be a guy that's going to be consistently open. all day today. So I'm probably going to start Cole Beasley, but it's so hard to say Allen Robinson. He's just so good. We've seen him for so long do unbelievable things with less quarterbacks, and I don't know if it's just how they're using him in the offense, if it's Darnell Mooney's ascension, if it's Justin Fields. I mean, he doesn't have that connection with Allen Robinson yet, but I told you before the show, Allen Robinson's going to get going at some point. It's going to happen. It's just he might be in that category where you have to sit him until you see it. You know what I mean? Like once he has that big game, I feel like you're back to trusting him in your lineup, but he hasn't had that big game yet. So I'm going to go with Cole Beasley here on the PPR upside. I'm not sure he has a touchdown upside that Allen Robinson has, but he definitely has the same, if not more, PPR upside than Robinson does.
Yeah, I feel like at this moment I agree with you. Cole Beasley just seems like the start here. Allen Robinson has just been very meh. I feel like it might be usage wise. Darnell Mooney's kind of that underneath guy lately, and he's just creating so much separation that Justin Fields is just keying in on him. Where Allen Robinson's kind of been field stretching a little bit more, and I feel like they're just not stretching the field as much. You know what I mean? He's making great throws. Allen Robinson's getting those types of throws. It's not all there yet, and it hasn't clicked. And Darnell Mooney just looked really, really good last week. So I want to avoid that. I'm going to go with Cole Beasley. I think that the way that the Bills are going to win against the Chiefs if they try is they're going to try and use that extension of the run game, which is Cole Beasley, and try and keep the Chiefs off the field. Yes, like you had said, Ryan, but not necessarily through running it, just kind of keeping that short passing offense that they always have. So I like Beasley this week. I don't know. I think his upside's just a little bit higher with that higher scoring volume and the just overall in that offensive game itself. Another league, pick one PPR running back, Jonathan Taylor, Leonard Fournette, or Melvin Gordon. All have not great matchups. I'm probably going Taylor here. I don't love it, but I think he has the highest upside of both these guys, or all three of these guys.
Yeah, I like Jonathan Taylor a lot this week, to be honest with you. I know they have a relatively tough matchup, but that's kind of how you attack Baltimore is by going after or by running the ball and attacking the middle of the field or tight ends. So I'm expecting a big day for Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines both because of just a PPR upside. So I would go with Jonathan Taylor over those two.
IE Sports, what's up? Good luck today to you too. I wouldn't say it's great. My voice sucks.
You're right.
I can't talk. So, but Ryan, how far are you behind right now? Did you see the Jets go
6:25 in the first quarter is where I'm at.
Oh, you are 2 minutes behind me. So how can I even talk about this game? Oh boy. I'm telling you though, this is the Kyle Pitts game. I hope you acquired him because right now it's all Kyle Pitts.
Every time I look at the screen, it's all Cordell Patterson, to be honest with you. I saw Mike Davis get blown up behind the line
a
little while ago, and then every time I see Cordell Patterson touching the ball, he's just gashing the Jets defense.
Do you have any Kyle Pitts shares to look at real quick?
I do have some Kyle Pitts shares.
Check it on Sleeper or wherever you play your fantasy football and PPR because I think he's had 2 or 3 decent plays. Decent deep shot, mid-range shots, but yeah, it's Cordell Patterson too. It's pretty much those two right now for the Falcons.
Got 4 targets, 3 catches, 34 yards for Pitts right now.
Yeah, so that's what 6 points PPR.
Yep, 6.4 as of right now.
Yeah, he's going to be a top 5 tight end this week. Probably should have played him.
Who'd you have? You didn't play him over.
I don't have any shares of him. That's what I'm saying. If you had him, you probably should have played him.
Oh.
If you didn't.
By the looks of it, I should have made sure that Cordell Patterson was in my lineup.
I mean, yeah, Cordell Patterson's a must start until he proves us wrong.
Which, as of right now, I'm not seeing any leagues that I didn't have him starting in.
Man, they're going to make Lee Smith fantasy viable this week, too. FYI.
Lee Smith.
I'm telling you. He's had 2 or 3 catches this game, too.
if I do have at least one share of Cordell Patterson somewhere, so I'm curious to see where it is and if I started him or not.
Probably not.
And I have a feeling that I didn't start him.
I really wish MFL would. They came out and said I think that they're not going to change him, but I thought I saw somewhere too that if you're the league owner, you can kind of change it. But let's think that he's only a wide receiver. Oh God!
Oh, I did start him.
Holy cow!
Did I have him?
That was a
What?
You just made a pretty ridiculous, decently ridiculous catch.
I really wish I wasn't so far behind because it would be nice to actually be on the same page, see where we're at.
Well, when your 2 minutes catches up, you'll see they'll probably, you're a little behind. Why'd they take him out?
Man, I swear to God, every time I look on the screen, he's gashing that defense.
I swear to God, if this, there it is. Kyle Pitts touchdown. Sorry to spoil it, but there it is.
Oh boy, I did start Kyle Pitts in the 2 leagues that I have shares of him in. So
yeah. All right. Peebles has Ayuk, Renfro, or Beasley start 1.2 PPR.
0.2 PPR, huh? Such a weird format. We've seen a couple questions like that where they got 0.2 PPR so far this year. So just a weird scoring format, to be honest with you.
It's probably kind of to try and equalize each player a little bit more to make them all, you know what I mean? Like one PPR kind of, I don't know. I feel like it was the basis into PPR where it started because I remember there was a lot of times where you had points per carry and stuff like that. It was probably maybe it's an older league.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he wanted 0.5, but I feel like we talked about him just a little bit ago. Cole Beasley to me seems like a start this week. I just can't trust Ayuk. I feel like, Kittle's out this week, and he might see a little bit more target volume, but to me, it's a big Deebo Samuel game again. And Trey Lance starting kind of, I don't know how much they're going to throw the wall. I feel like they might protect him a little bit more. So I'm not totally in on Ayuk this week. Hunter Renfro, I kind of have a bad taste from last week. I know he's kind of a PPR guy, but playing Chicago, I'm not set on that yet. So I like Beasley. I think that's going to be a higher scoring game. I could see the Raiders in Chicago being 14-7, something really low and just for fantasy.
Yeah.
So Cole Beasley to me against KC, I feel like this game's going to be as advertised. Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a shootout. And Cole Beasley's just he had that down week last week, but I feel like they get him back involved again this week. And they target him a lot, use him as, we had mentioned, the extension of the run game, kind of try to control the Chiefs a little bit while still attacking through the air. So I like Cole Beasley this week.
So the way I see this is that I feel like Renfro is out for me between these three. And in terms of what I'm looking at in terms of a floor or a ceiling, I feel like Beasley has by far the safest floor of him and Ayuk, but I feel like Ayuk probably has the higher ceiling now that Kittle's out. And their matchup here against Arizona kind of implies that they're going to have to throw the ball in order to keep up. I don't think that their running game is going to be enough to offset the explosiveness of Arizona. So I kind of like Ayuk here, to be honest with you. We've seen in years past where Ayuk is the guy that benefits the most of Kittle being out. But the Trey Lance starting does worry me a little bit, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure how they're going to use that offense with him. So I would start Beasley here. Just know that Ayuk probably has the most upside. And if Trey Lance comes out and maybe he has a thing with Ayuk and he peppers them and he gets a bunch of targets and he's the Deebo game that we're expecting from Deebo. But in a game like this, where you got a new guy starting, you're not really sure what the offense is going to look like. I would rather go with a safer option and go Beasley in a game that should be super high scoring.
Yeah, he says he started Brandon Ayuk today. Beasley did burn him last week, which is fair. I mean, Beasley had a poor game in a game that we would have predicted to be a little bit higher of a PPR floor.
Oh yeah.
It was also a really bad weathered game that turned into kind of a really, really bad game, weather-wise. So, but I just don't like Brandon Ayuk. I don't trust. I mean, Ryan, you're definitely way higher on him than me by the sounds of it. I just don't really believe in Brandon Ayuk anymore as much. The talent's there. I just don't. There's something going on deeper than what's being let on, because you had a guy who basically stepped in and was like your top guy for the second half of the season last year, and all of a sudden he's not playing. So I don't know what it is. I just don't really trust it. I know Beasley burned us last week, but I still trust Beasley over Brandon Ayuk probably 8 out of 10 times. So, but I could see the path to where you want to start Ayuk. So Galladay or LaVisca, PPR start 1. I'm on the LaVisca side of this. I think that we saw it last week that Jacksonville kind of started to really target him with Chark out and playing Tennessee, who lets up the most points to wide receivers. I'm in on LaVisca over Galladay. I know he has a pretty good matchup in Dallas, but Dallas's top 2 corners have been really good this year. This Giants game feels like more maybe another Kadarius Toney game, because I feel like Trayvon Diggs and who's their other corner? I forgot off the top of my head. Either way, both the top 2 Dallas corners have been really good this year. I don't know their name off the top of my head, but they've both been really good. So I feel like Galladay kind of is going to be locked down, where it feels like more of like a Toney / I don't know if Shepard's playing. I think he's questionable.
No, it's John Ross.
It's John Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Shepard's out, you said?
Yeah, Shepard and Slayton are both out.
They are both out? Oh.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be kind of like I don't like Galladay, especially with those 2 out now, which means that he's drawing definitely the top guy, so which should be Diggs. So, and I'm not in on that. So for me, it's LaVisca. Ryan?
Yeah, I like LaVisca a lot here, especially in PPR. Like you said, I feel like Galladay is going to be seeing a lot of Trayvon Diggs. He's played very, very well so far this year. I'm pretty sure he has an interception like every game so far this year or something like that. I said this. I didn't like Galladay last week, and he ended up having a pretty good week. But I think this is another game where he's just going to see tough coverage. It's going to be a higher scoring game, but I feel like they're going to get other guys involved. So I'm personally going LaVisca here. I just like his PPR floor. I like his yak ability a little bit more. So I'm going to go with LaVisca there.
I like it. I agree. Andrew, LaVisca. We're going to welcome Austin in. Austin is going to go over some injuries.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man?
And we're also going to say hello to Justin. How's it going?
Good,
Justin,
good.
Morning. Taking it to the hizzy. What is up? Well,
Top of the morning, mates. Man, is he from London or something?
Nah. He's just our friend. Yeah, it's London themed. There's football in London. I
guess you're right. That's what
we gotta have a little bit.
I thought Mate was Australian.
It might be.
Oh, yeah, it is right. Mates is Australian. It's like Chap, isn't it? Chap or something like that.
Yeah, Chap or something like that. It looks like Jeremy's drinking some English tea over there. What do you got going on with
that? Hey, what you drinking, Jeremy? What you got, man?
Tea. It's coffee, but
hey,
tea with the fact that I can't feel my voice. So
mine is on the way. What you can't feel your voice? What you got into this weekend, Jeremy?
I had not my own wedding. That's next weekend, but I had a wedding I had to go to yesterday, and the DJ was really loud, and I was trying to have conversation with people, and I was screaming all night. So
funny story for the listeners.
It hurts.
Funny story for the listeners. I had text Jeremy like 2 weeks ago. Say, hey man, congratulations on the wedding. I'll be taking a shot for you. Do your thing on the dance floor. I said, oh yeah, actually 3 weeks from now. So I still got that shot ready for you. So that was we'll be posting next weekend for you.
Yeah, this Saturday.
Yes,
Send
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
I'll be hitting a couple, maybe more than a couple.
I just want to see videos of dance moves.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, you gotta
I
be,
want to see dance
you gotta
moves.
go live
There's no
sometime or something during your
no.
reception.
There are no dance moves. If I pulled out a camera, I'd probably get murdered. So she'll kill me. So,
All right,
but there are no dance moves. I'm very bad at dancing.
Oh, come on,
I got
now.
no rhythm.
But it's your wedding. You got to do it, man. You got to do it. Got to.
Well, yeah, I got to dance with her. That's it.
Are you like me where you have to have a couple in you first before you actually get out there and start doing your thing?
Oh yeah. Once I have a couple,
I
I'll
definitely
loosen up. But
have
when
to have
I
a
say
couple.
loosen up, it's like shopping cart. You know what I mean? I'm getting like the shopping cart. I'm getting the disco moves. That's about it. There ain't anything else.
You got like the sprinkler, and you got like the sprinkler.
Yeah, I got some of those moves. Straight up like dad dancing. That's what I got going on. All right, we got a quick question to defer from me being bad at dancing. Trey, is it Ryan Tannehill versus Jacksonville? With Julio missing, or Lawrence against Tennessee. So same game, opposite sides of the football. I have Lawrence ranked ahead of Tannehill this week, but they're really close. I liked what I saw from Trevor Lawrence last week against Cincinnati, and I feel like against Tennessee, he has an even better shot of doing something similar, if not better, especially with I know Chark's out, but LaVisca kind of came out and definitely looked really good last week. So I'm kind of in on that. I think J-Rob helps him with the ball a little bit, and I think that Trevor Lawrence can get involved in the run game a little bit more. And Tannehill still without Julio. Yeah, I know A.J. Brown's back, but still without Julio, I'm kind of like on him. I also think that, as sad as this sounds, I think I trust the Jacksonville defense to be a little bit better than Tennessee's at the moment. So, and I don't expect people to say that, so just feels weird saying it coming out of my mouth. How about you guys?
Yeah, I would definitely roll with Lawrence. He's progressing. He's gotten better every game. I still think Tannehill and the Titans offense is figuring some things out. I don't have a true identity a lot with the injuries, and then also still trying to be very centric with Derrick Henry. So I just trust Lawrence more. Who's playing at home this game? So like a lot of times I toss that up, home versus away.
That would be the Jaguars, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Lawrence then. So yeah, for sure. Since it's a toss up like that, sometimes the home team has a little bit more favor, and I think a home team environment for the rookie will help him out. So,
Ryan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lawrence here as well, just because I think it's a big Derrick Henry game again. I think he's gonna see a ton of work, and I'm not sure if Tannehill's gonna see enough volume to be fantasy viable. And if they do get in that situation where Derrick Henry's just pounding the rock all day, and Lawrence can't get things going initially, anyways, I feel like they're gonna have to play catch up. So I'm gonna go with Lawrence here. Last week was the first week he did not throw a pick in any game. He had thrown at least 2 picks in each game to start the year. So obviously getting a little bit better. Cincinnati's not the greatest defense in the world, but not the best either, or not the worst. So I'm gonna go with Trevor Lawrence. Like we talked about earlier, Tennessee's given up like the most wide receiver PPR points so far to start the year. So his wide receiver shouldn't have a problem getting open. I'm gonna go with Trevor Lawrence.
I like it. So it seems like a clean sweep there on Trevor Lawrence, Trey. And you're welcome.
you're welcome.
All right, Austin. What do you got for us for injuries?
So,
I'm going to hit you with a question right off the bat. Delvin Cook. Can we expect Delvin Cook to be Delvin Cook? Or are we still – I mean, we kind of thought we'd see it last week. We unfortunately didn't get it last week, really, where it was – he kind of came out that first drive. It looked like it was going to be Delvin Cook. And then they just kind of steered away from him. Do we expect something similar again this week? I know he's now healthier. Or should we just kind of avoid Delvin Cook for one more week?
Yeah, so he was the first one on my notes, actually. So he had an aggravation on the high ankle sprain last week. Limited practice Friday only, which cautions me to believe that he's still not where he needs to be, and they're still being very cautious with him. Like I said last week's show, they take a very cautious approach with Dalvin Cook with all the soft tissue injuries he's had, even dating back to some of his college career. So, which is understandable. Again, I was previously optimistic But now, he probably will have to battle through limitations just because of what's going on with the high ankle sprain. He could be active, but again, again, slim chance he gets more than 10 to 15 touches. And ineffective play with his ability to cut, and he loves those cutbacks. He loves the zone stretch scheme. I just feel like he might be ineffective if he does play. And again, there is a risk of aggravation. So I would probably sit him out this week. I probably would not have him in my lineup personally. So that's where I'm at with Dalvin Cook. I think he probably needs at least one more full week of just less aggravation to that area for it to, kind of stimulate the healing process through that ankle. So yeah, I'm off of Dalvin Cook this week. And that's just my advice to anybody who's kind of leaning towards him. The next one on my list, I had Joe Mixon. Despite the confusing report, the injury is roughly a low-grade high ankle sprain. Kind of same thing dealing with Dalvin Cook. Again, high ankle sprains are very, very, very concerning injuries for running backs just because of the amount of stress on those ligaments, on a lot of those cutbacks, and trying to kind of use those agility and effective lateral movements to get into cuts. So, again, he didn't have a full speed practice to play. It didn't happen. The Bengals said he did need one. So they already said that already. Apparently, he's quote unquote slated to go. But I mean, he can't be full strength yet, especially particularly after seeing him in the Jacksonville game. So again, high concern for in-game limitation and aggravation if active. So again, he's someone else, another running back that probably I would stay away from. Antonio Gibson, he's playing through the stress fracture in the shin. He even reported minimal pain, limited practice reps only, which is not really too much of a concern because this is kind of a pain management injury. He's getting fewer practice reps. I think McKissick usage will continue to kind of even out with Gibson just as they work through that. I would say maybe about 15 to 18 touches for Gibson. Again, this is more of a week-to-week than snap-to-snap. There is some long-term concern, again, because it's pain management. But, again, I would think this to be a week-to-week situation. I had expected to play, but risk of aggravation for a couple people. I think Amari Cooper would be expected to play. But, again, watch some of the risk for aggravation and ineffective play. And then also Curtis Samuels. And I would expect him to really have some limited snaps as he returns back into the lineup. Unclear injury with limited practice time. The three players that I think that are kind of somewhat game sign decisions or you're just not really sure about is TJ Hawkinson, Cortland Sutton. He had that rolled ankle game time decision with him. And then David Njoku. So those are the three that are kind of unclear, limited practice time. Just be cautious, wait until closer to the game time and actives before you kind of make your decision with those. So
that's definitely tough with Hawkinson. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a majority owned guy, and he's kind of like the top guy in a lot of people's tight end rooms. So that's kind of dicey, especially because tight end's so meh that to pivot from him could be hard. Justin's hitting us with the updates over here. I did see it, Justin. 17-0 Falcons. So our Jets pick here was a bad idea, Ryan. But Hayden Hurst gets a touchdown. So it's tight end touchdowns. You know, we got Hurst. Pitts with the first one, Hayden Hurst with the second.
And that was Pitt's first touchdown. That was his first touchdown of the year, wasn't it, Pitts?
Did you see Pitts' one-handed catch?
Yeah, the deep one on that. I think it's that same drive that Hurst scores a touchdown.
Yeah, they just scored a touchdown there.
Yeah.
He had a one-handed catch.
Nice. Nice grab. Very nice grab.
So
lower ball too. He kind of reached out right around his hip area and just kind of snagged it one-handed. Nice.
He's always been pretty good with that too. Through Florida, a lot of his highlights, you see that stuff where he's kind of going down and grabbing those mid-hip type balls, especially in the red zone. So
for his size, crazy athletic profile.
He looks good.
I haven't seen nobody that size so fluid in his movements. He's an amazing athlete. Yeah,
and he's been split out pretty out wide in the slot area, kind of like a Mike Gesicki type usage that Miami uses him in, especially today with missing Ridley and Gage. But yeah, the Jets look really bad right now. Justin also took the Jets at +2. Don't worry, Justin. It might come.
Yeah, it might.
The Jets have been really bad in the first quarter. They popped it up on the broadcast, but not that we need to know that. They just kind of been come from behind kids lately. So it might still happen. Atlanta also likes to give up the lead. We saw them do it against Washington last week. So I definitely hope it gets a little bit more interesting. But this is what I was worried about with Zach Wilson or like all my Corey Davis and Jamison Crowder starts all over the place. The London game gets a little dicey, I feel like, and especially for a rookie quarterback, it's even harder. You know, you make that travel. You see it happen for like 4-hour time zones. Now these people are going over. What is that time difference? I don't even know. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So it's just it's a different experience. It's kind of gets a little meh. We've seen it firsthand, Ryan, with the Bills a couple times. So I don't know. I hope Zach Wilson turns it around. I really liked Crowder this week and Davis. So I'm hoping that happens.
It's a 5-hour difference right now. Currently, it is 3:24.
Yeah, Justin just said that. He thinks it's 5 hours. So, but.
And you talk about his, fifth NFL starts in London, which is, you know what I mean? We're talking about his not even halfway through the season. So,
yeah.
And all rookie quarterbacks have been a little. I mean, Mac Jones has really looked the best. If you want to argue, like physically watching them, and even just Mac Jones was the only one to win a game, I think, until last week.
But also too, you know what? It's all about coaching, and Mac Jones is coaching type of environment. I like Fields, but I just feel Nagy is just incompetent. Trevor Lawrence, you never know with Urban, right? Wilson, they're still trying to figure it out in Jets land. Who more am I forgetting? Is it one more? There's one more.
He just got picked off too.
Yeah, so.
Do we got
man?
Austin, did you touch on DeAndre Swift?
No, I didn't. I would say he's a good to go. I think he's going to get his touches again. Just kind of watch any aggravation, but I think I didn't really see much on the injury report with him, other than them just being real cautious with him. So no, I think he's going to be a good go. He's going to be a workhorse. Play him in your lineups. Who they play today? They play
Minnesota.
Yeah. And it's a division game, so expect them to lean heavy on him. They're undefeated. I mean, they haven't won a game yet. It's a division game, so they're going to be a little more hungry and really ride Swift hard. So.
Yeah, and Swift played a lot last week. He just didn't get points. I think I don't remember the exact breakdown of it, but he saw like 75% of like the snap share, I believe. I don't know exactly if that was it. It was 75% of some type of snap share. I probably shouldn't even bring it up.
The Bears defense being
he was involved heavily. I think he saw a ton of the 2-minute offense. He saw a lot of the pass volume. It ended up being that it was just a meh game for the Lions. But I don't know if you guys just saw that, like the interception for Wilson, but like it seems like that safety made a good play on the ball, but like Jamison Crowder just kind of stood there. I don't know why he didn't like try to come back to the ball. I don't know.
My stream's still lagging, so I think I'm about to see it right now. I'm not sure when exactly it happened, but
I'm a little delayed on mine as well.
I think they're second and 10 on the 25, so I feel like I'm probably going to see it right here.
Yeah, it's a deep shot. That probably sounds about right. It just
it's a great break by the safety right there.
No, it is. That's what I mean. The safety makes a really good play.
Honestly, what it looked like to me was that it looked like Crowder was going to run it out.
Yeah, the ball was behind too.
The ball was behind him, and Steve just made a play.
Come on, Zach Wilson.
I'm looking to see this replay right here.
But I mean, as bad as
it's just a bad ball. Crowder is running an out route there, and
it's a bad ball.
And Wilson
I think that's why kind of Crowder looked like that. He just he
was trying to come back to the ball, and it was no chance. Yeah, that's just a bad ball.
See, look at this is the great part. I can see it ahead of time live, and then I'll let you guys know, and then you can analyze how bad Zach Wilson's playing because he's peeving me off. And it's not even that I started Zach Wilson. I mean, I need Crowder to get some. It seems interesting though, because the Jets are really using Crowder as like a even a field stretcher again. Like that was a deep shot. Those aren't shots that Crowder usually sees that type of target.
No.
So it's interesting.
The thing is, like, what exactly happened between the preseason and week 1 of the NFL season that Wilson just all of a sudden seemed like, is it really that big of a difference in the
vanilla
competition?
defense.
You know what I mean? Like, is it
No,
or is it
like
like
you said,
scheme thing or what?
The playbook was severely limited on both sides, even in the defenses he was playing in preseason. I think the speed of play, and then also I think that he wasn't playing against true starters. I think most of them he was playing,
that's what I mean.
Backups and things like that. So,
whoa, Lee Smith with the hops. You guys will see it coming. Sorry,
right, he's getting a lot of usage today. I'm actually kind of shocked. I
should have started all the tight ends.
Yeah.
I guess we should have saw it coming, but they don't have any healthy wide receivers. But
I would think more Hurst than Pitts, not D. Smith though. He's
right.
actually got a couple balls thrown today.
The Falcons look good against the Jets. Jeez. So do you guys think this is I know it's the Jets. Oh, look, Hayden Hurst again. And he fumbled it.
Jets get it?
They're still crawling around the field. Oh, they say they got it. They say the Jets got it. I know. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's live. I can't control myself. Anyways, let's go to an actual question to help people other than sitting here laughing at Jets and Falcons. All right. Need 2 of these 4. 1 wide receiver and 1 wide receiver running back. Jacoby Myers, Allen Robinson, Cortland Sutton, and Kenny Gainwell. So I already accidentally messed up saying that the Texans were out 4 linemen earlier this morning, but it's actually the Patriots, which makes me a little bit concerned about Jacoby Myers because 4 of their starting linemen aren't supposed to play. I know it's only Houston. So I'm a little nervous on Jacoby Myers. I don't know about you guys. I know he's been kind of consistent all year, but the offensive line it's a little concerning. But Cortland Sutton's rolled ankle makes him a little concerning as well. And where are we at on Kenny Gainwell? Is it only 3? Justin says it's only 3 linemen. I thought I saw a report that it was 4 this morning. I'll look that up while you guys tell me how you guys are on Kenny Gainwell.
I know Philadelphia has 4 linemen.
I'm going to look up what I found. Kenny Gainwell. Tell Dom how Kenny Gainwell is, because I'm torn on Kenny Gainwell. Like I feel like I want to start him, but I also don't know if I can totally trust him because his usage with Sanders is fairly even, and it seems like whichever one gets a touchdown has a better week that week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, he's seen a decent amount of opportunity. He's got at least 9 opportunities in every game so far, except for that weird, what was it, I think it was week 3 against Dallas, where I thought he'd get used a ton and he didn't really get used at all. But they seem to want to get him involved. Jeremy, we talked about Kenny Gainwell a little bit before. I don't know if they want Gainwell to be the guy. It kind of seems like that's what they want to do because they're not really using Sanders up to his full ability.
He completed a pass.
Sutton against Pittsburgh is a little bit tough. I mean, we know that defense has traditionally been good. They haven't been playing all that great this year. Teddy Bridgewater is going to play today, so that makes me a little bit more optimistic for him. But it's still, the injury obviously is a concern. It could always get aggravated and might miss time with him. I think Jacoby Myers provides a pretty safe floor. Not too worried about the offensive line issue. Just because he does see a really, really large target share. And they're playing Houston, who doesn't have the greatest pass rush in the world, so I don't feel like they have to have their starting lineman in order to make that happen. So I'm probably going to start Myers there with a safe PPR floor, and then probably Allen Robinson over Sutton and Gainwell, just with the fact that Sutton has that injury and he's playing Pittsburgh.
Yep, same thing. Jacoby, safe floor. And then Allen Robinson, I like the connection with him and Fields last week. They looked pretty good together.
Justin says buy Gainwell, but he also agrees with you guys. He says Jacoby Myers and Allen Robinson.
And I would ride with Cortland, but I think that injury He's
Yeah,
gonna be
the
a
rolled
good wide
ankle
receiver.
kind of concerns me.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
gonna be. And
so
he already is coming from the ACL too, so I don't know if it's the same leg, but I just would be real cautious with him, and I think even the Broncos probably will be. So I probably would not be on Cortland Sutton today.
yeah, I agree. I think Allen Robinson seems like that game's coming. You know what I mean? He's getting the target share. It's there. It's just it hasn't produced yet. And this could easily be the game that it does because the Raiders are out a couple corners, at least one, I think. So I don't like Sutton against Pittsburgh as much. It's going to be way more low scoring than we think, I believe. Even with Bridgewater playing, Gainwell's the only one that's interesting to me. Like I kind of feel like Gainwell over Jacoby Myers isn't that crazy to me. I just am really concerned because I did look it up. They are down 4 starting linemen. They called up 3 from the practice squad. So that's it's scary to me. Mac Jones has no mobility whatsoever. So depending on how good these 3 practice squad linemen are, he might not have time to really get rid of the ball. And I don't know. I could see the Patriots losing this game possibly. And that's crazy because it's Houston. So I'm really iffy. I'm like 50-50 on Jacoby Myers and Gainwell. I'm chasing Gainwell for the higher upside. Personally, I just feel like I don't know, but most people, like you said, so I'm going to go Gainwell and Robinson. That's just kind of how I feel about it. But I'm outnumbered 3-1 with Justin in there. So Dom, you can either go majority or you can go with my riskiness and take Gainwell, but it's very risky. Don't get me wrong. CEH or Taylor if Mixon's spot.
Taylor.
Yeah, I agree. CEH against the Bills is not a good situation for him. The Bills have been really, really good against running backs. The only real big touchdown or even touchdown in general to a running back this season was Gibson's 75-yard screen pass, and CH isn't going to see any type of usage like that. So Patriots or Colts defense. I'm honestly taking the Patriots against Houston with Davis Mills. We've seen what Bill Belichick loves to do to rookie quarterbacks, and this one is one with a very low draft capital and a guy who's really struggled. We saw him struggle against the Bills last week, and we saw what the Bills defense did last week. So I'm in on the Patriots this week. How about you guys?
Yeah, I'm going with New England as well. I mean, we've traditionally seen Bill Belichick shut down opposing teams' best playmakers, and that's Brandon Cooks. And they don't really have much of anything after him. And like you said, historically speaking, Belichick has always been able to give rookie quarterback fits. So I'm going to go with the Patriots defense there.
Yeah, yep. Justin agrees with us too. Easiest under on the day.
Yes, Patriots D.
So there you go, JM, Patriots defense. We got Trey S. Morning Gents. A couple of questions. Full PPR. Kenny Galladay, Tyler Boyd, or James Conner. It's probably a flex. And then also Derek Carr, Tannehill, or Trey Lance. Quarterbacks are interesting. That's for sure. So what do we think? Did Derek Carr come back to life or back to reality? Or was it a division game? The Chargers know Derek Carr. They knew what to do to get to him, to kind of mess with him. Or is this what we should see from Derek Carr the rest of the season, guys? Think he's kind of back down to reality? Or do you think he's going to go back up to what has been a great starting option in any format?
I think even like we talked about last week, the regression was inevitable. I think he has a tough matchup against Chicago today. So I would, even if he is at home. So I'm off of Carr today.
Do we trust Trey Lance though? You know what I mean? Like I feel like for me, this is between Carr and Lance. I don't see Tannehill being.
No.
I don't know. I mean, Tannehill's like a mid-level super flex type quarterback to me. Like he's like mid-level QB2 this week. Feels kind of safe. A little bit better with AJ Brown back. But like, are we ready to trust Trey Lance? You know what I mean? Like he looked good in that little minute action last week. So,
but also too, you remember now the game plan with him now. Like it's a whole week of installing things, probably run game, play fake action. A lot of different concepts I think are now you can open up with him being the starter. So I'm really interested. To me, I'm riding him because I feel like the playbook is going to open up a lot with him. So I'm on Lance. And then as full PPR, I'm going with Boyd. I think it's going to be a shootout between the Packers and the Bengals. So I like Boyd in that situation. So my two would be Boyd and then Lance. So that's why I'm going with those.
Man, Zach Wilson just missed a wide open Elijah Moore for like a freaking 40-yard
Jesus. They're
pass.
They're struggling big time.
He just hit Crowder though, so there's a couple PPR points. Yeah, I might take Trey Lance. It's a risk, Trey, but go with the namesake. You know, your name's Trey, his name's Trey. Maybe it conjures up some spooky season and we get something good. But I agree, Trey Lance's rushing floor is so safe. I feel like they're going to use him a lot in that. I don't know if they're ready to trust his arm fully to be like, hey, drop back and throw 30, 40 times. And especially playing Arizona, they're going to try and slow them down. And Trey Lance could see a lot of, like Austin had said, a lot of designed runs, a lot of maybe some option type stuff. So I'm in and starting Trey Lance.
The field shuts down too in that red zone. Definitely. Because you remember that one game he came in. What game
he
was
scored
that?
a rushing touchdown last
week. Yeah,
no,
the Packers. Yeah, he came in and they had a rushing touchdown with him. So
yeah, and his body style, he's a lot like Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Once you get in that red zone, that's a big advantage for him and the 49ers to begin with. So I like the Trey Lance start. It's definitely risky. Derek Carr feels safer. I know it's a tough matchup, but he's not going to get you. Trey Lance could be QB1 this week. You know what I mean? I don't foresee it happening, but he has the potential to be there where Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill really don't to me. So I'm risking it with Trey Lance for sure. No matter what your record is, I would take that risk. As far as the flex goes, I agree with Austin too. Tyler Boyd seems like a safe play here. The shootout, Tyler Boyd's just always been a PPR guy. I know T. Higgins is coming back, but I don't know if they're going to like fully now just go straight to T. Higgins as their main target. So Tyler Boyd looked good last week, so I'm in on that. And I don't like the matchup for Galladay against Dallas. Diggs has looked really good this season, so I'm just not in on that. And James Conner's 2 touchdown dependent. Boyd at least sees other usage. Ryan?
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said right there, Jeremy. I don't like the Galladay matchup. Conner's extremely touchdown dependent. So I'm gonna roll with Boyd there, and then, like you guys said, I feel like Lance just has such a so much higher ceiling than Carr and Tannehill do in terms of his overall fantasy production. Carr did still throw 2 touchdowns last week, so it's not, and that's his 4th straight week of 2 touchdowns. So I feel like his floor is relatively safe because I feel like he's gonna throw for touchdowns, but the upside of Lance is just too intriguing. And I know we said we were going to sit Ayuk. We don't know what the offense is going to look like, but with a playmaker like that, where they've already shown that they're committed to having him be a playmaker, like Austin had mentioned, Lance has already came in, even when he wasn't the starter, and came in and had the rushing touchdown. You're going to see a lot of that today. So I'm going to go with Lance and take the upside as opposed to the floor of a guy like Carr.
And Trey, Justin, who is a very good, reputable person that I trust, is starting Heineke over Carr. So if that helps you on how he feels what their Carr is going to be, that adds to it. But yeah, no problem, Trey. I'm chasing that. Go with Trey. Give it a whirl. Thielen, Galladay, or CEH at flex. I'm going to take Thielen. I think that the Vikings throw all over the Lions, who have already proven. I mean, they're just injury ridden on the back half of that defense. I think Thielen sees a touchdown today, and Galladay, like we mentioned just in that last snippet there, I don't like the matchup with Diggs that he's probably going to see, and then CEH against the Bills. No, thank you.
Yeah, Thielen as well. He's just getting great volume. He's being very efficient with his targets as well. So Thielen over those. Again, CEH, just cannot trust him right now in that offense because it's so Mahomes-centric. So I like Thielen.
We also got Justin asking us, Damian Williams, Allen Robinson in a full PPR league. Where you guys stand on this? Both, I feel like Williams is a safe RB2 this week, but like Allen Robinson, obviously, I feel like has the upside if he gets involved and is what Allen Robinson has always been. Just kind of seems like he's having a down year this year. So where are you guys at with this?
See, I love Allen Robinson, so it's so hard to say like to bench him. But in this matchup, the Raiders defense actually isn't terrible against the wide receivers. They're actually a top 10 defense against wide receivers so far in terms of what they've allowed to wide receivers, and they're a bottom 6 defense in terms of what they allow to running backs. So like I said before, if Damian Williams sees anything remotely close to what Dave Montgomery sees in terms of volume, I feel like he's the play there. If Khalil Herbert gets involved, we could be proven wrong in that aspect. But like I said, with how the Raiders defense has played the wide receivers and the running backs, I would take the better matchup and go with Damian Williams.
Same here, Damian Williams, just matchup dependent. Allen Robinson, you got Fields going on the road, and like you said, they've been on top 10 versus wide receivers this year, and I think a lot of that's because the pass rush. They got Crosby playing like a wild man. Yeah,
that Chargers game, man, he was.
Yeah, they got Yannick, so I think it's going to be a tough matchup just for Fields. Being on the road, like you said, it's a cross country. Well, not cross country because they're from Chicago, but West Coast game. It's Vegas, and I think with that pass rush, it's going to be a tough matchup for Fields and Robinson. So I'm going with Damian Williams as well.
Injury update. Austin, you're supposed to be on top of this. No. Devontae Parker's been ruled out with his hamstring injury today. So now they're going to be short against Tampa Bay. They're going to be short Parker, Fuller, and Jakeem Grant got traded.
Jalen Waddle to the moon.
So it's Jalen Waddle, probably Preston Williams, Mike Gesicki. So that's interesting. Definitely something to monitor, making some decisions. I like Gesicki a lot, possibly now.
Those hamstring injuries are really tough.
And Jalen Waddle, so.
Yeah. So hamstring injuries are very tough for receivers. Probably one of the most limiting ones. I mean, usually when any type of injury to the hamstring for receivers, you're more than likely going to have some trouble coming back quickly from that. So, like you said, Waddle hard, particularly because they trade Jakeem Grant too, so right? Yep. So they only really have.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be Waddle, Preston Williams, Mike Gesicki. I mean, honestly, Myles Gaskin might see a decent share. I know it wasn't great last week, but he gets a little bit more interesting now, even though it's Tampa. But Dom has different league, full PPR. Edmonds with the game time decision at 425. Or only other option is they all play at 1 is Gaskin, McNichols, and Patterson. I like how we had like a joint oof. That's a tough one.
Just a collective oof, yeah.
Well, here, let's go to our injury guy, Austin. How do you feel about Edmonds? You think Edmonds going to play?
So what I was kind of what I hit it on earlier because I got some notes on him as well. So again, limited practice, but now expected to play because, again, it's the likely AC joint sprain. Padding, pain management is going to be necessary. It's not always effective just because of the position he plays. A lot of those hits and with the extra body weight with some of the linemen and some of those big, strong, athletic linebackers hitting him, we don't know how he's going to deal with the pain, but they will pad the joint up pretty effectively. Again, I say limited workload, aggravation could be high, but again, I think he will play. But you're taking a risk versus reward there. Again, with AC joint sprains, all it takes is one hit to re-stimulate that pain process, which is very tough. Particularly, you have a lot of neurovascular structures right around the AC joint as well. So I don't know. I honestly probably would stay away from Edmonds just because of the fact of the injury. And I would probably roll with Gaskin because I feel like they like him a lot out of the backfield. I think he's very, very usually involved in their offense, and particularly with some of those other injuries in the receivers, I think they're going to use him as a receiving option. So that's just my opinion. Just because you're waiting for 425 for the game time decision.
Yeah, and she doesn't have. There's no real other great option to switch to because I think the Tennessee game, like she says, they're all at 1 o'clock. So you don't have that unless there's anybody on your waivers, Dom, that you could add. I would probably just start Gaskin, especially with the limited playmakers, even though they're wide receivers on the field. They're gonna. I know they didn't use him a lot last week. They kind of rolled on Malcolm Brown, but maybe they're gonna use Gaskins in a different role this week. Maybe split him out wide or something a little bit different, just to get some touches because you're playing a Bucks team that you need to have. I mean, you can't just like roll over, even though you're out like Devontae Parker and Will Fuller and all these guys. So it's tough. I like Edmonds in the matchup, but like you said, the injury concern is so bad, and it's like you said, it's an easily re-aggravatable injury. He could play the first snap of the game and get one good shot to the shoulder, and there you go.
And the same thing with Higgins too today. So be cautious with Higgins. The same type of injuries. Talking about AC joints. A lot of those are very tricky. And if anybody doesn't know, the AC joint basically is basically a acromioclavicular joint. Basically, is the anterior first part of the shoulder where basically the shoulder blade meets the clavicle. The shoulder is a very unstable joint, right? Because you need it for mobility, right? You see all these crazy catches, reach around your seatbelt, do everything else. It has to be very mobile, but you lose stability there. So any type of injury to those ligaments that stabilize that joint are very highly aggravated, particularly with a physical sport like football. So again, same thing with Higgins as well. So I would still be very cautious about Higgins if people are trying to reintroduce him back to their lineups as well. So just be cautious of those two injuries, Edmonds and Higgins, because they're both similar injuries.
So how do we feel about Gaskins versus McNichols? McNichols did get a lot of use last week. He's had a good point total for for PPR. He had a really good total.
But I mean, last week it was AJ and Julio out. This week we're talking about AJ back. So the middle of the field, a lot of those screens are going to go to AJ. I feel like more than McNichols. So I'm like Gaskin just because of the fact there's down so many, and I think he's had some success as like a split out slot receiver. I think even college he did that as well, and then I think early in his career, Gaskins did that as well. So to me, Gaskins more. But
Ryan,
I cannot trust any running back going against Tampa right now. And the usage from last week is really concerning. Gaskin only saw two rushes, didn't even see a target last week. So that's really concerning for me. Malcolm Brown seems to be a guy that they really want to get involved and stay involved. The Edmonds injury is concerning for sure. But in terms of like Higgins has already missed 2 weeks because of his injury. Edmonds hasn't missed a game yet because of that injury. So I feel like Higgins is a little bit safer. I know they're the same injury, but haven't missed time for his. Higgins is probably a little bit safer in that regard. But
that's not the question, Ryan.
McNichols, I was just touching on the injury aspect of it. McNichols, honestly, is who I might roll with because, like I said, I can't trust Gaskin against Tampa Bay. I can't trust really any running backs against Tampa Bay. So as weird as it is, I'm probably going to go with McNichols and just hope for that PPR upside to stay where it was relatively close to last week. Because even if he sees 7 or 8 targets, he's still probably going to see more opportunities that'll be enough to make him viable over Gaskin, who's going against Tampa.
Yeah, Justin has Cephas in over him. He has Khalif Raymond started over Gaskin. So I'm really torn. I kind of agree. I feel like both have the same floor. Both could give you 0 points.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lean on. I feel like McNichols might have a better upside. He's had, I think, what is Gaskin's top game this week or this year even? You know what I mean? I think McNichols has had the highest of both of these guys' PPR point totals of the season. You know what I mean? Like Gaskin's or McNichols' 16-point or so game last week is probably the highest, I think. I don't think Gaskin had a big game this year, has he?
He's had 12.6 as his highest in PPR.
Yeah, and McNichols had 16 last week, right? Ryan?
Yeah.
Fact check me. Yeah. So I would risk it with McNichols. Why not? He seems very involved in that pass game.
And trust me, I totally agree with y'all from y'all's perspective. I just think just with what the limited options they have
the
with
limited
Miami,
options in Miami makes
that's
more
really where I'm
you
at.
know, and it's really a coin flip, Dom. I feel like whatever you feel at your heart, like sit there and ask your gut and go with that. It's really a coin flip. It's tough for these two.
So here's the thing: if you're looking at what they've done, McNichols actually has a safer floor. His lowest game of the year so far is 6 points, and Gaskin got you 0 last week. So, I mean, McNichols has been involved in every game so far, and we've seen a game where Gaskin has just been completely useless. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards McNichols, because he seems to at least be involved consistently as opposed to Gaskin, who just saw 2 carries and no targets last week.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I own McNichols in a lot of leagues because nobody was adding him. I don't know why, at least in dynasty leagues, and my running back rooms are terrible. So there'll probably be spots where I start McNichols. So, Dom, I'm with you. I'd start McNichols possibly. So, Mixon or Damian Williams here from what do you guys think? I'm going Damian Williams. Austin touched on it earlier. He could touch on it a little bit here. The Mixon injury, I see him more as like a decoy. I think he gets a couple touches here and there, but it's not like he's going to be the guy there. I think they're going to run a RB, like a running back by committee. So
yeah, and like I said earlier, the Bengals said Mixon. I think Coach Taylor said that Mixon needed to be full speed practice to play. It never happened this week. So quote unquote, apparently he's slated to go at less than full strength. So again, high concern for in-game limitation and aggravation if active. So I would stay away from Mixon.
I feel like you're going to see a lot of P. Ryan. You'll see some Evans. And I feel like when they need, like, say they got like a 3rd and 2 and they want to pound the ball, I feel like that's where Mixon's going to come in. You know what I mean? He's the bigger of all those guys. And just seems like in like those maybe a little bit crucial moments, you might see Mixon, maybe some goal line touches. But Damian Williams is the guy there in Chicago. And the Raiders are a decent defense, but they're not like stellar. They don't concern me for performance wise. And we've seen what David Montgomery's done with a full workload in that Chicago offense. So Damian Williams is a step down from Montgomery, in my opinion, but he's not bad. You know what I mean? It's not like you're going down to like a McNichols. You know what I mean? You're not going down that far. He's a viable running back. We've seen what he did with the Chiefs. We've seen what he's done in other starting roles at times. So I'm in on Damian Williams, especially with just that Mixon injury, is something that you aren't going to see a lot of them. You'll be lucky if you see 10 touches, probably, Austin. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yes, I would say 10. And they're going to be very, very, very
light. And they're going to be like short yardage. He's going to be, I think, that's how I think they're going to use him. I could be completely wrong, and maybe his injury's not as bad, and he comes out and he carries it 20 times. But I don't see that at all happening.
And I think you also lose some of his receiving ability because I don't think they're going to put him in those.
No, I think you'll see Chris Evans in those situations possibly. So, Ryan, anything on this?
Yeah, I'm going Damian Williams. I'm not taking the risk on Mixon if that's your other option is Damian Williams, who's likely to see a full workload as opposed to Mixon. So it's pretty easy for me.
Fair. Start 1, bench 2, James Robinson, DeAndre Swift, Josh Jacobs. We'll start there. Then we'll go to the second half question. Who you guys got? This is tough. I'm definitely benching James Robinson or Josh Jacobs in this situation. I like the other two a lot better. But where are we at that? What do you guys think? Between James Robinson and DeAndre Swift. I mean, unless you guys like Josh Jacobs. I feel like that's kind of, with those three, I feel like he's the worst option. Am I wrong? You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the worst, especially with the Robinson matchup against Tennessee. I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift here with how he was used last week. And he gets the matchup against Minnesota, who hasn't been great against the run so far this year. Anthony Barr is supposed to make his debut this week, though. So a little curious to see if that helps their defense at all. But just with his pass catching ability and just how talented he is in a positive matchup, I would go with DeAndre Swift over Robinson and Jacobs.
I like Robinson. Again, it's on the at home. I think that I like what I saw from him against the Bengals. Very aggressive, always an effective runner. I just think DeAndre Swift versus the Vikings front four is going to be tough. I think it's tough sledding. Now I do think he will get a lot of usage out the backfield, a lot of passing because Goff loves to check downs. So I do believe in that. But I think from a running perspective, like you said, with Barr coming back, kind of dictating, getting everybody in certain good positions. I just like Vikings front four. Minnesota is a tough place to play. So I'm going to go with James Robinson for me, but definitely benching Josh Jacobs, though.
Yeah, I have Robinson and Swift as like 2 top 12 backs this week. I think both of them could be RB1s. But I actually have, I think I have James Robinson a little bit higher than Swift. Just because he's like the guy there. You know what I mean? He's back to what he had last year. You know what I mean? When he was so effective, he just is like a target, like, or an opportunity dominant type running back versus DeAndre Swift, who still has Jamal Williams there. So I honestly feel like I might start James Robinson this week. I like the matchup of this situation. I'd like to try and start both of them. I don't know if you can, depending on how your flex plays go. That might be a part of the second question, but I think I'm going to go James Robinson, especially in the usage. They're going to try and protect Trevor Lawrence a little bit more than the Lions will protect Jared Goff, in my opinion, too. Also, Dan Campbell came out and said they want to get Jameer Jefferson involved some more, so I don't know what that means. They also said they were going to get DeAndre Swift involved last week. And So, second part, also start Jacoby Myers or Brandon Cooks or Mike Williams. Start one. I already have McLaurin and DJ Moore playing. It's still Mike Williams for me. I know he had a down game last week in a divisional game. And he said he already had Henderson play. So there is no flex in this league. So that's why. So he can only pick. Yeah, I think I'm still sticking with James Robinson as far as that goes. But here, I think wide receiver wise, I'm going Mike Williams. It's still, he's very involved in that offense. It was one bad week. I'm not ready to quit on him yet. And I don't like the matchup with Brandon Cooks against New England with Davis Mills and Jacoby Myers. They're missing 4 starting linemen, so I don't trust Mac Jones.
You worried about that Cleveland defense at all with Mike Williams? Maybe Herbert doesn't have enough time to get the ball deep to him, and it's more of a Keenan Allen short mid-range game.
Not really.
No? Yeah, just because, man, Herbert is a gunslinger, so he's going to get out.
Oh yeah,
and he has a very quick release too. So I think it's going to negate some of the pass rush from Browns. You rarely see them get into those deep 7-step drops. It's usually quick game, 3-step, 5-step drops to get it out.
Yeah, and it's all touchdown dependent.
Yeah,
like Mike Williams, like his big games.
Yeah, I think they're going to do a lot of screens. So I think as well to negate some of the pass rush. So, and I think they like you said, Keenan Allen on the screens, but I think it's going to open it up. And Herbert's a gunslinger, so I'm going to say Mike Williams as well. Brandon Cooks has been very productive, but like you said, I just don't trust him in this specific matchup. Particularly, Brandon Cooks played with Patriots, and you know how Belichick is with scheming defensively to limit certain players. So I definitely am staying away from Brandon Cooks. So Mike Williams.
And I have the Patriots pretty close to the Bills as far as the defense goes. And we saw what Cooks did last week against the Bills. I mean, it wasn't anything remarkable. So I don't trust it. And I'm not, to me, like if I'm looking at this is who I'm trusting. Do I trust Mac Jones to get the ball to Jacoby Myers more? Or do I trust Justin Herbert to get to Mike Williams? And I trust Justin Herbert to get it to Mike Williams. And that scheme, that offense, I think Mike Williams has a touchdown today. I know that the Browns aren't terrible defensively. They're a decent defense, much better than probably people think. But I just still like Mike Williams. I'm not ready to give up on him after one bad game, which was a divisional game against a not so bad defense in Vegas. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm starting Mike Williams over both of those guys. I just didn't know if you were concerned about it at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious for concern. I mean, they're not a bad defense. You know, it's not like they're playing the Jets. But you know what I mean? Like, I
had to squeeze that one in there, right?
Yeah, Bills fan, you got to hate on the Jets.
All right, fellas, I'm out. I'm actually going to the Panthers Eagles game. Actually,
you have fun.
Yeah,
get out of here. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I had to come home with my boys and
have fun.
Hey,
who are you rooting for?
Actually, I'm here with family. My brother, he's a Eagles fan, so he bought a ticket. Respect. I'm just going. You know, I'm Ravens all day, so I'm waiting till tomorrow and get the.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was wondering who you.
So we got the Monday night game. I'm gonna just enjoy the game. You know, and Panthers is home team. I'm from Charlotte, and that's why I don't know about you. So, home teams. I guess I'll go with the Panthers just because they're home team. So.
Yeah, and then you could have like a little bit of a little rivalry there with the brother. You know what I mean?
There you go. That has something. Hey man, congrats for the wedding. I'm taking a shot. Thanks. I'll text you for real Saturday morning.
Saturday. Yeah,
maybe send you a nice little GIF with some dance move inspiration.
Yeah, I'll appreciate it.
And then Always love to be on. Can't wait the next time.
Yeah.
Go Ravens. Go Bills. Who y'all got today? Who y'all got?
KC, Sunday Night Football, baby.
Hey,
AFC
baby. I
Championship
don't like
rematch.
Kansas City.
Big
And
game.
Josh Allen, he's on my fantasy team. So go Bills. Because
I got a lot of them. I don't know if you think that, but you know.
Are y'all stressed right now? Because I forgot y'all playing Kansas. Y'all stressed?
No.
Y'all think y'all gonna do it?
I think it's a big game mentally for the team. They got to beat them. Yeah. They do.
Yeah.
Because if they
honestly, it was the same way when Lamar beat them. Because sometimes you got to
just confidence. You know,
down.
If they're gonna see him in the playoffs, I want them to have at least beaten him once to know that they can. You know what I mean? Like mentally. Right. So I think it's a big game. They got to get it done.
I'm riding with my Bills, boy. Jeremy and Ryan. Bills, baby.
All right. See you. Take care. Have fun.
Have fun.
All right. Pittman, Waddle, Devontae Smith. Is Waddle a must start with Parker out?
I think he is.
I agree. I think the upside's way there with Waddle. Tampa Bay's been very bad against wide receivers. The question is, like, do you think Jacoby Brissett's going to have enough time to get him the ball? You know what I mean? That front four is pretty vaunted. The linebackers.
That's the thing. His ADOT's super low. It's not like he's getting.
Yeah. He's kind of like
that. He's just been getting hit with screens or these little hook routes and just kind of getting yak yards. So I'm perfectly fine with starting him. I think he's gonna see a ton of targets. I do like Devonta Smith this week, but Waddle is.
I think the upside's with Waddle
in order to keep up. I feel like he's a guy it takes one and he can take one to the house, and I don't think he's done that yet this year. To my memory, anyways, I don't think he's had one of those just breakaway receptions. So. I think Waddle's a must start this week against Tampa. So that's where I'd be going.
Yeah, I think I like Waddle's upside. Especially with Parker out, he's going to see a lot of volume. Devontae Smith will too. I don't think it's a bad start, but I think you could easily see where Devontae Smith outscores Waddle. But I think Waddle could have a huge game just because of the limited options. Like, who are they going to throw to? I think you're going to see Waddle, Gesicki. So, yeah, I'm going to roll with Waddle. I think you could see him get his touchdown today. And he always has that home run threat, you know, like more. I feel like Waddle has more of a home run threat than Devontae Smith. I mean, Devontae Smith can do that too. It's not like he's incapable, but I just feel like Waddle is just so explosive. The ADOT, like you had mentioned, Ryan, just getting the ball out quick to him on the screens. He's going to be a PPR machine, I think, today. So I'm in on Waddle, especially with Parker out, like you mentioned.
Yep. Charlie,
Edmonds, Chuba, or Alexander Mattinson if Cook sits in PPR. If Cook is out for sure, which I don't think he is. I think he's going to be active. I don't mind Mattinson. We were just talking with Austin too a little bit earlier. Chase Edmonds is a little concerning with his shoulder injury. All it takes is one good pop to that, and he could be out for the rest of the game. So Ryan, where are you at here? I feel like this is a little bit tricky. I like Chuba, but Mattinson is a pretty good draw if Cook doesn't play as much. But I feel like it's sticky because Cook's going to probably play. So it's like, how much does Cook get? How much does Madison get? But then, like, I could see Edmonds too. Like, he could be limited with the shoulder injury. And then we saw, like you mentioned earlier in the show, Chuba, Rodney Smith came in and saw a lot of targets. So I don't know. Where are you at here?
I mean, I'm not taking the chance of starting Edmonds because he has the later game. Both Minnesota and the Panthers obviously play at 1:00. So Edmonds is a 4:25 game. So if you choose to start him, that means you're already missing out on. I don't know what your other options are if you do decide to start Edmonds. And Edmonds is, like Austin had said, is a huge risk to get through the game fully this week. So that's really tough because if you could guarantee that Edmonds is going to be healthy, I mean, you'd be starting him. But if Cook plays, Madison's upside is completely and utterly capped. I mean, he's likely just not see more than a handful of work. So I'm probably going to go with Chuba here, knowing that Christian McCaffrey is not playing. Rodney Smith could have just been one of those things where it just happened to flow in the game that way, and that might not happen again. So I would go with Chuba here as opposed to taking the risk of having Edmonds get hurt early on or possibly not even play to begin with. I don't know if they've officially ruled him active or inactive. He's probably going to play, but I'm not taking that chance of him. And he could prove me wrong. Arizona's offense is explosive, like we've talked about a bunch. But the injury concern is what is stopping me from starting him in the late game start. Because if it comes out at 3:00 that he's not playing, and you already have Chuba and Alexander Madison playing, then you're kind of stuck in the mud. So I would go with Chuba. And I mean, if you see that Cook isn't playing, because it is a 1:00 game, so inactive should be coming out here in the next 20 minutes or so. If you see Madison or Cook is out, then I would start Madison. If Cook is playing, I would start Chuba.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think I'm just starting Chuba either way. Yeah, I am. Because I think Cook's going to be active, and I think it's going to be messy. So I'm in on Chuba this week. I think that he sees a decent amount of work. Justin is too. It just seems safer with Edmonds' injury where he could go out so quickly at any moment. So Dawson Knox or Jonnu Smith. I'm in on Dawson Knox. So is Justin. I think with the high scoring game, Knox is on a roll right now. He's hot. Touchdowns everywhere. I know he's touchdown dependent, but right now he's on a roll, so I'm riding it. And again, the injury concerns on the Patriots offensive line kind of concerns me with the ability for Mac Jones to kind of get the ball out. That's where you could see Jonnu Smith kind of get something. But right now, Jonnu Smith seems touchdown dependent too in the tight end position. I mean, he's seeing targets, but not anything of any use. So I'm in on Knox.
Yeah, I mean, and Knox has gotten a relatively fair target share for that offense. I mean, he's gotten 13 targets the last 2 games, so it's not like he's just getting touchdown. You know what I mean? Like he's involved with this offense now, and Chiefs have really, really struggled against tight ends. I think they're giving up like 85 yards a game or something like that to tight ends or something.
And to be honest, I feel like that's what's hurting Beasley a lot too. You know, like he's kind of taking some of those over the middle throws away from Beasley that was usually kind of Beasley's area. Almost had a big kick return there in the Jets game from Tevin Coleman. I mean, he had a big one, almost broke it though. Ryan, why don't we touch on that? How do you feel about? I mean, it's 20-3 Falcons. How do you feel from that first half? You know, the Jets looked pretty meh. I kind of regret. I had to start Elijah Moore in one spot, and my option would have been him or Hayden Hurst. And clearly, I chose Hayden Hurst. So that's how my morning's starting. In a league that I really want to win. It's a home league, and I was in a rebuild, made some trades. Now my team's like kind of good, and I really needed like a win today, and it just kind of doesn't look great now.
I mean, the game script points towards Elijah Moore having a better second half.
Well, Zach Wilson can't hit a barn now.
That's the thing is that Zach Wilson's look really inaccurate. I mean, I know I'm a little bit behind. They're just now starting the second half right now. They're getting ready to kick the ball off.
Sorry, I forget.
So
get a better stream, all right? Just messing.
I'm poor, man. I can't afford regular TV and stuff. I got to stream and be illegal and get arrested. But
FBI breaks in your door because we're doing this show. They found you.
Please don't. I have 3 kids. But yeah, the Jets don't look very good in any aspect whatsoever. See, I'm just seeing that kick return. Tevin Coleman 2 years ago should have been long gone. There's no way a kicker should have caught him on an angle right there. But yeah, the Jets.
Oh, that's 2 years ago, Ryan.
The Jets don't look good right now.
They look good on this drive a little bit. They're getting the run game.
Corey Davis. Is Corey Davis back in the game?
Yeah, he's in the game. He has 5 PPR points so far.
Because I saw that he had limped off, and then Denzel Mims was in the game. So I wasn't sure where that was standing. Made your heart happy?
Yeah.
That he wasn't healthy.
He didn't do anything. Yeah, he didn't do anything, but he was on the field. That's a plus. That's a step in the right direction.
It is.
We got Vikings kicker or Pats kicker.
I can't remember who the Vikings are playing. The Lions? Vikings.
Yeah, I like the Vikings too. A lot more points. You might see a field goal.
The Patriots literally might. That Patriots game might be like 13-10.
Yeah, it could be bad. Oh, look. Why is
That
this
game
going?
could be ugly.
Honestly, just give the ball to Elijah Moore. I knew I shouldn't have started him. I knew it. I fell in the trap. I talked myself out of it yesterday, and then this morning I woke up and I was feeling risky, and my risk is not paid off.
Too risky. Why? Why did they draft him if they're not going to use him in the way that he should be being used?
Because it's the Jets. I don't care who the head coach is. They just always ruin my life.
Yeah, but Robert Saleh seemed in. Is it Matt LaFleur? Which LaFleur is it that's over there?
It's a good question. It's not Matt. Isn't that the Packers?
Matt's my coach of the Packers, right?
Yeah, Mike, I think is his name. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's his brother.
Either way, he's a smart offensive mind, and I mean he's had weapons like this before, and they just
Mike,
don't.
yeah, Mike is his name.
They just don't seem to want to give him the ball. I don't understand it.
Yeah, he's a rookie. He's a rookie wide receiver. I mean, it's normal. You expect it, especially with a room that has Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder. You kind of expected it to be kind of a struggle.
Yeah, but if Braxton Berrios can be effective, why is Elijah Moore not being effective? That's my thing. Like
well, he had his injuries. I mean, it might be just he just needs to get caught up in the playbook. They want to kind of they're committed though to Keelan Cole, Jamison Crowder, and Corey Davis. They paid all these guys money to stay. I mean, Crowder restructured his contract, but they paid money for these guys to stay. They're trusting the veterans. I get it. I was just really hoping that Elijah Moore saw he did. He had a deep target. Just Wilson threw it about 35 yards out of bounds because I don't freaking know what he was doing. But Ty Johnson touchdown. Could have started him in my flex too. Didn't. Sick. All right, we have a question. Trey, Edmonds likely to play flex him or Galladay full PPR?
I feel like I'm going to start Galladay because he has less risk of going down.
Yeah, I don't like the matchup with Edmonds. Even though Edmonds is likely to play, I mean, that injury, he could go out at any moment. But he also could have a good game. Edmonds is just risky. If you feel like playing risky, that you feel like you could possibly make it with 1 or 2 points if he gets hurt and goes out, Edmonds is worth it because he could definitely put up his normal usage. And I just don't like the matchup with Galladay. I think Dallas's defense, at least on the outside at the corner position right now, is playing really well. So I'm not sold on Kenny Galladay having a big game. I think he'll have a decent PPR game, but not anything crazy. So I feel like Edmonds has a higher upside if he stays in the game. The question is if he's going to stay in the game. Also, Justin says Berrios is the best wide receiver on the squad, so that's why.
It's fair.
So
he's looking at the first couple weeks.
Yeah, as soon as everybody picked him up off waivers, so he just doesn't get used anymore.
Yep. Well, that's because
we weren't the game.
I think people weren't really sure when Crowder was coming back. I know he had left the team for like a personal matter or something like that, right?
No, I thought he was injured.
I know he was hurt, but I think he did leave the team for a personal matter and missed like the first couple weeks or whatever.
Yeah, he missed the first couple of weeks. I thought it was for injury though. I don't know. I just know he was questionable for like every week. So
why couldn't that Ty Johnson touchdown be Michael Carter?
Yeah, I could have liked that too. It just seems like I don't know. Corey Davis, Crowder, any of those guys. I mean, they looked better that first drive. I mean, I know it was a short field because of the Coleman return, but they looked a lot better there. They were moving the ball a little bit better. So I think the second half is going to be a different story here in this game. I hope you see a little bit more from Crowder and Davis.
Then their kicker doinks the extra point.
Yeah, well, that's normal nowadays. I feel like the kickers should collectively come together and sue the NFL or something and be like, you guys are making us lose our jobs because you made us kick further.
Make the field goal post wider.
Yeah. Can we go back to the easy extra points, please? I like my job.
Yeah, but it's a chip shot. Like you're a professional kicker. Like I couldn't do it. I know for a fact I couldn't kick an extra point, but you get paid a lot of money to make an extra point.
Yeah, but It's hard for these guys. Okay, it's hard.
Like I said, I get it. I couldn't do it. I know for a fact I couldn't do it. I'd be crapping in my pants if I had all those guys rushing at me and trying to block my kick. So
It is crazy though, like that aspect that the game took, like when they moved that, like now you're getting so many different games that have different scoring outputs that we weren't so used to. Because you're missing these, you know what I mean? Like it's just interesting.
You're missing them, or you're going for two more often, and it's just weird. It's a weird thing to me. Because like you got Justin Tucker making a 66-yard field goal, and then you got guys doinking extra points off the goalpost. You know what I mean? Like it's just weird how that works.
So I got a personal question sent to me. I'll bring it up for you. You can help me with it. Looks like Mixon's playing. Should I trust him over Elijah Mitchell this week?
Ooh, see, I was going to ask Austin about this, actually. I forgot to ask him because we got talking about other things. But Mitchell is interesting because of how Trey Sermon has been playing in his absence. Like, he hasn't been a game changer by any means for that offense. He hasn't been, like, a revelation. But last week saw 19 carries for 89 yards, averaged almost 5 yards a carry against Seattle, which we said was a great matchup for him. He just didn't score a touchdown, so it didn't really work out for you all that great. But it is interesting to see what they're going to do. I don't know if I
feel like I trust Elijah Mitchell over Mixon, though. Like I feel like even though he's playing, his usage is going to be meh.
I trust Mitchell a little bit more. But I just don't know how they're going to use him with Sermon playing the way he did last week. You know what I mean? Like coming off an injury, Sermon's playing well, and they're playing Arizona where they might have to throw the ball a little bit more than they want to. And Trey Lance is starting, who might also cap his touchdown upside. So I would go with Elijah Mitchell. Just because you don't have the injury or as big of an injury concern. He is still coming back from an injury, so it's not like he's completely healthy. But I think that's probably where I'd lean is going Mitchell as opposed to Mixon, who's probably not going to see nearly a full workload.
I agree. I'm rolling with Mitchell. All right, we got PPR flex, Kenny Galladay, Cole Beasley, or Latavius Murray, and then at tight end, Jared Cook or Zach Ertz. I'm going to go with Beasley. I know it's a bad weather game, supposed to be at least. But I think it's still going to be high scoring. I think they use Beasley a lot in this game. I know he didn't get a lot of usage last week, but I'm in on it. I feel like he's less touchdown dependent than Latavius Murray. And I don't like the matchup that Galladay is going to have against the top corners in Dallas. And then the tight end's really sticky. I'm going to go with Ertz. He's seen a lot more target volume than Jared Cook the last few weeks. So, Ryan?
This one's actually kind of tough for me in terms of the tight end look of it because Cook did just see 7 targets last week against Las Vegas, and we know that Cleveland's defense is going to be coming for Herbert. Like their pass rush is very, very good, so it might be one of those things where they attack the middle of the field, like I said earlier. And Ertz does have Galladay to compete against, Ertz has Galladay. Ertz has Dallas Goedert to compete against, who is a better player, especially in terms of where he is physically and at this point in their careers. But Ertz has been seeing a decent amount of volume. He's been involved. I think I'm going to go. See, that one's tough.
I just don't. I know Jared Cook saw a big target share last week, but I don't foresee it continuing. You know what I mean? I feel like Jared Cook's like touchdown dependent, in my opinion. Or Zach Ertz, I think, is just going to see more target volume, personally.
He's seen 5 or more targets in every game except for one against Kansas City. I
feel like
go ahead. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll with Ertz. I think he's done enough the last 2 weeks for me to start trusting him again. He's seen 15 targets the last 2 weeks, so I think I'm gonna roll with him there, just because I feel like he's getting a consistent. He is getting a more consistent target share. It's just Jared Cook's just in a better offense, so that's kind of where I was leaning there a little bit. But I'll go with Ertz there, and then I'm going to take Beasley as well here. Highest over under the week for Kansas City and Buffalo. I know you said the weather might be bad, but we know that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs don't care about the weather. They're going to air the ball out regardless. So
The Bills
Buffalo's going
proved
to have
it
to
last week too.
So I'm going to go with Beasley there.
So Beasley and Ertz. Non-PPR, pick my 2 running backs and a flex. We got Fournette, Sanders, Moss, Deontay Johnson, Odell Beckham Jr., and Antonio Brown.
It's a good problem to have.
So the RB2. So it's non-PPR, Ryan. So where are you at? Like, I feel like the non-PPR.
I like Moss and non-PPR.
Yeah, I was going to say Fournette or Moss seemed like the guy here for me. Why do you like Moss better than Fournette? Try and convince me. Just out of curiosity.
I just feel like when Buffalo gets close, they're going to try to exploit that Kansas City front that hasn't been very strong against the run so far this year. And Tampa Bay, I mean, they leaned on Fournette a lot last week, and he very well could score a touchdown. I just think Moss has the better matchup, and if it was PPR, I'd go with Fournette because with Gio Bernard being out, I feel like Fournette is going to see a lot more third down work. But I like Moss's chance to score this week. I like Fournette's chance to score this week as well, but I feel like the Buffalo game is just going to be higher scoring. That's just kind of where I'm at. I wouldn't fault you for starting Fournette, though, to be honest with you. Like, if you said that you wanted to start Fournette, I would agree because I feel like it's kind of neck and neck with those two for me. I'm kind of out on Miles Sanders right now for this week, especially in non-PPR.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm really out on Sanders until we see like a better usage. As sad as that sounds, because Sanders is very talented. But yeah, I like Fournette a little bit better than Zach Moss. I trust that Fournette gets used more than Zach Moss. Devin Singletary hasn't been a slouch, and I just game script. I mean, Moss puts the ball on the ground and he's going to get benched. Fournette might not. Seems like Ronald Jones has that antage there in Tampa Bay. Like Fournette can kind of mess up and he gets a second chance. Ronald Jones doesn't. So I like Fournette a little bit better than Zach Moss this week, but they're close. And Ryan likes Moss better than Fournette, so that's kind of a toss up there between those two, but definitely out on Sanders. And then as a flex, Ryan, do you like would you play Fournette and Moss, or would you play one of these receivers in a non-PPR, Deontay, Odell Beckham, or Antonio Brown?
Ooh.
Like, I feel like Antonio Brown has a tough matchup. Miami's secondary is pretty good. Odell. It just seems like Odell and Baker are never on the same page at the moment. So, like, it's kind of like, meh. Deontay Johnson, like, I don't 100% know, like, how good is Deontay Johnson in non-PPR? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What did he score non-PPR last week? Like, where was he? Do you know? I don't play too much non-PPR, so I just don't. Oh?
In non-PPR, he scored a touchdown last week, so he scored 15. 92 yards and a touchdown against Green Bay.
I feel like I'd start Deontay Johnson in my flex. I think he has the highest upside. Yeah, so he said like 15 points. I feel like Deontay Johnson has the highest upside of all of these guys, even in non-PPR.
See, like, I think AB has a higher chance to score, to be honest with you. I feel like he probably has the highest touchdown upside because Brady loves to look his way. And that's just kind of his guy, especially with Gronk being out. Deontay is a much safer PPR option for sure, but non PPR, I feel like AB probably has a higher touchdown upside. I know Miami has a tough secondary, but Tampa also has Godwin and Mike Evans that they have to like. Who do you put Xavier Howard and Byron Jones on? Because you're gonna have to leave one of them to your third cornerback, and Brady's gonna pick out that point where AB's on that third cornerback, and he's likely to break one. So I think I'm going to go with it being non PPR. I think I'm going to go AB here, and the Fournette Moss thing is just kind of a toss up. Whoever you want to pick between those two for me.
Yeah, I mean, I still think I still like Deontay Johnson. I just feel like his target share is so big in that offense that he's gonna get. I like Deontay Johnson. You can't convince me. I can't trust Tampa Bay receivers too much. I know that he likes AB, and I get what you're saying, but what if AB's blanketed by Xavier Howard? You know what I mean? What if this is the Godwin game or a Mike Evans game? You know, I'm going to go with Deontay, and I think Fournette. Like, those are my two. But like Ryan said, Fournette and Moss are pretty close. And I wouldn't fault you for starting AB, but I just feel like Deontay's kind of going to
Deontay is facing Denver, though.
Yeah, but
it's a tough matchup.
Worried about that. I ain't worried about it.
We were worried about it last week.
We worried about it last week, and look what he did. Exactly. So I ain't worried about it. No. Running back 2. Right. James Robinson, CH. Or no, sorry. I don't know where the hell I came up with CH there. James Robinson, Antonio Gibson. See, I took Chase Edmonds and Hunt and put them together. And Chase Edmonds or Hunt. So running back 2 and a flex.
Ooh,
I like Kareem Hunt. Definitely as a flex, and I'm probably starting James Robinson.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy for me in this one. Chase Edmonds, I get Chase Edmonds is good, but that shoulder injury worries me. Gibson's also monitoring an injury, and Gibson hasn't looked great. I mean, his best game was just because of one big play, and after that, like he just hasn't looked great. I mean, he had a good game last week; it wasn't terrible, but I think James Robinson's in for a big game against Tennessee, and Kareem Hunt's he was a guy who I kind of was off a little bit on in the offseason, just thought that they might use Nick Chubb a little bit more, but they use both of them so well, and that offense is it's amazing. Honestly, I'm in awe of how the fact that they are able to, like, everybody talks about how great the Ravens run game is, but like Cleveland's like right there, and Cleveland might even be better. Honestly, you start to look at it, like they have constantly Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, top 10 guys for fantasy, and even in the NFL, they're just both so effective that I'm in. I think James Robinson and Kareem Hunt is these are easy for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. I'd be going Robinson and Hunt here as well. Gibson is dealing with that shin. I guess he has a stress fracture in his shin, which isn't great. I've had that injury before, and I'm not even a professional athlete, so I'm not doing anything too crazy, and that is a painful injury to have. That might explain why he's been so down this year, if he's been dealing with it all season, which it seems like he has. So, like you said, Hunt's been involved in every game that they've been competitive in so far. He's been extremely trustworthy. So I would go with Robinson and Hunt.
There you go, Vlad. Fade. So Ryan, how you looking here on this game stream before I blow it for you?
I'm not quite sure on that time wise, but the Falcons just got the ball off a punt for me.
So I'm ahead of you. You're gonna see a nice play coming from a running position. Too hype. Antonio Gibson, Amari Cooper, Jacoby Myers, Chris Godwin, Damian Williams, Brandon Cooks, start 2. So Damian Williams for me is definitely one of them. I'm kind of out on Brandon Cooks just because of the Patriots playing Davis Mills. It is PPR as well, so that kind of helps Cooks a little bit. But like, I just feel like the Patriots are really you're gonna see kind of the similar game that Cooks had last week against Buffalo again this week. I just think that he's going to see a big target share, but it's like what is it going to be? And I don't think it's going to be a lot. I like Damian Williams. I think he's going to see a good workload. We've seen what David Montgomery's done there. So Damian Williams for me is a must start here. And then for me, it's a toss-up between Amari Cooper and Chris Godwin. And I think I'm going to lead Godwin based on the fact that Amari Cooper is nursing an injury. So for me, it's going to be Godwin and Williams. How about you, Ryan?
For me, it's Williams and Cooper. I think Cooper's been nursing this injury all season, so I'm not really too concerned about the injury, to be honest with you. That offense has looked really, really good. So I'm going to go with Cooper and Damian Williams here. Like we said earlier, I don't think that Patriots game gets super high scoring.
Oh, wow. Dalvin Cook is inactive.
Yes, I just saw that as well. I was going to mention it, but you were talking. I didn't want to interrupt. So whoever asked us about Madison and who was it, Chuba, I would personally start Madison now this week, but that's just me. I know Jeremy said he was going with Chuba either way, but for this question, I'm going to go with Cooper and Damian Williams. Brandon Cooks, like I said, game should be low scoring. They lock down opposing team's best playmakers. So I'm going to go in Godwin. We don't really know what type of game it's going to be for them. And Brady likes Godwin, but I don't think he likes him as much as AB. And I feel like he is one of the guys that they might stick one of their top corners on consistently. So I'm going to go with Cooper and Damian Williams.
So I got a question for you. Javonte Williams or Kenny Gainwell? So say you lost Dalvin Cook, do I start Madison then? So you must have Madison. I'd start Madison.
I would start Madison over. I would start Madison over Damian Williams, I think.
Yeah, I think I would too at this point, especially with Cook out. That bumps Madison up a lot. Playing Detroit definitely helps him.
Yep.
I'm in on starting him over Damian Williams. Yeah, for sure. I think he could be almost a top 15 back. I think Madison's definitely proven it in that offense. So I'm in on that.
I mean, I can't remember what he did off the top of my head. When they played Seattle, I mean, he 26 attempts for 112 yards. Last week he was down because they played Cleveland, but I like Madison a lot. If he sees another 26 carries, I mean, he's very, very, very much start worthy. Actually, that's actually kind of crazy. What did I just see there? Looked like he had like 34 opportunities.
Yeah, the running back position in Minnesota is viable no matter who you are. So yeah, I'm starting Madison, especially against Detroit.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't realize that 34 opportunities against Seattle for him. Man.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy though to see that. I mean, Mixon is active.
I haven't seen any inactives rolling through yet. I obviously saw the Cook one being out, but other than that, I haven't seen any ones coming through yet.
Yeah, Sutton's active. TJ Hawkinson's active. Mike Davis just fumbled. Oh, and it was Shaq Lawson who makes the play. That's definitely interesting.
We should have asked Austin about Melvin Gordon's leg issue. He's questionable with a leg injury, and I don't know what the injury is or what the extent of it is, but they're saying he's expected to play.
Oh my god.
So here's another question for you. With Sutton being questionable with that ankle, I still haven't seen if he's active or not. He
I
is
just
active.
said that. Yeah, way to listen to me, Ryan. He's active.
Sorry, I was reading other things. So with him active, do you think any? Are you starting any Denver wide receivers this week?
Not really.
Against Pittsburgh?
No. I'm really torn.
I don't think I am.
I would maybe. I'd probably start Sutton, just because he's active, which means he's probably good enough to go. So I would probably start him.
I think Noah Fant's the guy to start this week.
Yeah, no offense, definitely a start. I think he sees a volume. But I feel like I could start Tim Patrick too if you had to, just because of the pure fact of what he's done. So yeah, I would start Tim Patrick. Sorry, I was reading something. Yeah, I'd start Tim Patrick. I don't know about Cortland Sutton. I mean, I'm torn because I feel like Cortland Sutton is active to play, but like
think he's more
that
of a
ankle is going to
decoy?
be concerning, to me. Like, I just feel like is it going to be more targets to Tim Patrick now? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I could see Tim Patrick a route where Tim Patrick sees more work.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think Sutton's more of like a decoy type of guy to just kind of draw coverage away from somebody else?
And it could be. I think he's healthy enough to play, so he's playing. You know what I mean? I just think that's what.
Well, no, but we've seen
it was a rolled ankle, so you know what I mean. Like, I mean, I've rolled my ankle before and been able to do things. Like, we don't know the severity of the rolled ankle. Like, was it just enough that they just took him out of practice for safety? You know what I mean? So nothing worse happened. It's kind of where I'm at.
That's fair.
So I'm not investing too much about it.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not getting like actual notifications on who's in or who's out for this week. Usually I get like my phone usually blows up around this time.
Yeah, I mean they're starting to come in. Like I said, I saw the tweet Scheffner had about those four, which is Mixon's active, Sutton's active, Hawkinson's in, and Cook is out. Other than that, I haven't seen much.
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of the guys that we already knew about that I'm seeing as of right now.
I think Cook was a little bit of a surprise. I figured he was going to play.
A little bit, yeah. I know Austin said that he expected him to play.
It's another one of those that's a fairly easy, a little bit of an easier matchup for them. So maybe they're just going to sit him and be like, all right, Zach Wilson can handle it.
Wait, what? Zach Wilson?
What? I was reading a tweet about Zach Wilson. That's why. Oh. And I just watched Jamison Crowder and there's an injury. Sorry.
Got another question down there that just came in, Jeremy. Madison or Taylor? Is this PPR? Because I feel like that might change my mind a little bit.
Would it though? And he said yes, it is. So you got Taylor against Baltimore. I'm taking Madden.
See, the reason why this changed my mind a little bit is because with how effective Baltimore's corners are, I feel like Taylor's going to get to see a lot of dump-off work, or he should see it, unless Nyheim Hines sees all of it. And
yeah, I still feel like you got to ride Taylor here.
Ground.
I mean, Mattinson could have a big day, especially against Detroit, but I feel like Jonathan Taylor's just way more talented, and I feel like you got to start him. You know what I mean?
But
like
the other thing is, though, is that if they jump out to a big lead against Detroit, they just grind it out with Madison the rest of the game. I'm gonna take the talent here. I'm gonna go with Taylor. But that's really tough with Cook being down, just because we've seen what Madison can do with Cook out.
The tough thing is we've seen good and we've seen bad. Like
Yeah,
we've
I
seen
was
Madison
interested to
get
see-
5 points without Cook. You know
I
what I
was
mean?
interested to
Like
see if Dalvin Cook was active last week, and I don't think he was.
Cook was active last week. Yeah, he was.
He was.
That's why
And yeah,
I was
and I mean
surprised that he was down this week.
Madison only scored like a handful of points, but the week that Cook was completely inactive, he went off. So,
But in the past, we've seen like years past, we've seen Madison step in against like bad teams and not do well. So
Yep.
I'm just going to take Taylor. It's safer. He's more talented. I think that they're going to lean on that run game a little bit too. I could see the Vikings throw a little bit more too. So, but I think Madison could have a big day. I mean, it's really a coin flip. Both these guys could have big days. So, but I'm still leaning Taylor. Just seems safer, better talent, better offense. Well, not even better offense. Minnesota's offense isn't terrible, but I think I got to go with Taylor. And it might be wrong. I mean, Madison definitely could have a big day. It's an easy matchup in Detroit, so.
Is there anybody behind Madison at all right now?
Amir Abdullah, probably.
Oh yeah, are they? I haven't looked into that rookie that they drafted. Is he just special teams, or is he hurt, or what's going on with him?
He's hurt, I think. And no problem, JM. Incomplete. Oh.
Where the heck is he? Sleeper just like remove him from. He did return to practice last week.
Man,
what if he comes out of nowhere and he ends up being the back that that takes the carries?
It won't be. Don't worry. Anybody. Don't let Ryan.
It won't be, but
don't give people false hope, Ryan.
I'm not giving him false hope. You're not going to start him even if he is. But like, they activated him off injury reserve last Wednesday, and he practiced all week and hasn't missed practice at all. So runs a 4.340. He's fast.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, that's a nice sideline grab right there by Elijah Moore.
Yeah, it was incomplete. He was also out of bounds.
I couldn't see his feet. I just saw the snag and the.
No, you got a penalty for going out and then touching the ball.
Yeah. I saw the flag was out, but I wasn't 100% sure what they were calling it on.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. I got Abby too when I saw it. So. All right, Ryan. I think we're gonna close her out. You got any last minute words for anybody?
No, just good luck. Thanks for stopping by the stream, and hopefully everybody has a successful week 5. I know I got a couple teams that are sitting at 4-0 right now, and a couple teams that are sitting at 0-4 and 1-3. So hoping to keep things going and turn things around. And I was looking at it overall, and I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm 1-3 or 0-4 in some of these leagues. But the more I think about it, I've also realized that I'm in too many leagues, to be honest with you. Like I started I had somebody that was inactive in my starting lineup, and I didn't even I went over all my lineups after the stream last week, and I didn't notice it somehow still. Yeah, so I feel like I just have so many lineups to go through and settle that I just miss people.
Yeah, so, I'll definitely probably be dropping some this offseason.
Yeah, I'll be out of a couple leagues for sure. My main thing is what I'll probably do next year is I'll probably just stick with either my money leagues or any charity leagues that I do. Or like Scott Fishbowl, obviously I'll reapply for that and things like that. But in terms of just leagues that I joined just for the fun of drafting, I'm probably not gonna do that again next year, because 26 leagues is more than enough for my fix. I might do a lot more best ball though. I'm doing pretty well in underdog right now, so might just kind of stick with that next year as opposed to having 26 rosters I have to go through and check every single week.
You're telling me you don't have fun with that?
I mean, I do. I enjoy it, but it's not very fun when I forget to set line or forget to double check lineups and leave guys that are inactive in my lineup and things like that. That's not very fun.
Or have a situation where you have to take Dalvin Cook out and put Brandon Bolden in? Yeah, been there, done
Oh,
that.
God. How
Because
deep is that a league where you have J.K. Dobbins hurt in?
Yeah, I had Gus Edwards too. It's a redraft league, and I'm 0-4, so it's just at this point,
So you're going to be 0-5 is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's full of injuries. I had Chris Carson, didn't play him. Played Patterson as wide receiver because I had started Sony Michel because he was my only other running back option. And yeah, it's going great. It's just great, Ryan.
Anyways, it is what it is, man.
Anyways, next week, guys, you'll only get to see Ryan's lovely face for a couple weeks. I'm going to be off for some vacation time and a kind of important life event,
No,
a wedding.
I think your wife would be perfectly fine with you just streaming on your honeymoon.
Nah, she won't. So,
you guys already
nor
talk
will
about,
I.
talk
Because
about
I
it.
want to
Did you at
just
least
sit.
try? Did you at least try?
No, because I don't want to.
Lame.
Yeah, I don't.
You're supposed to be committed.
No commitment. I will answer questions. Send them over on Twitter. I'll do that. I'll go through that. I'll probably, I'll have that doing. I'll do my rankings and stuff over at Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and that's about it. I ain't gonna go crazy, but I'll be on Twitter probably all the time because she'll probably be reading and I'll probably be sitting there. So
you should at least hop on and let me see the view.
Nah, maybe if you send me the link, I'll think about it.
All right, that's fair.
Probably won't happen though.
Either way, where are you guys going again?
Cabo. So
yeah,
it should be all right. It's supposed to be pretty warm. Kind of rainy though, I think, for the first half of the week. So kind of a bummer, but whatever. It's supposed to be 90, so I'll take that.
Oh,
all right.
I hate you for going there.
I will be here Tuesday, so you'll get to see my lovely face. So see you guys Tuesday. Good luck this week, and hopefully you guys get some wins. Hopefully my team does too.